Hello, hello, and welcome to the stream. Is it me or is it a little louder than usual? Might be me. There. I is good besides my arm still having no strength. I'm sorry to hear that. Wait, did I? I'm trying really hard to recall now if you told me something about your arm before. I think you did. Right? But I hope that resolves soon, and it's nothing too bad. I'm doing okay. I'm playing Detective in Outer Worlds. Oh, are you playing Outer Wilds? I have that game too. I played it for a while. I didn't finish it yet because it gave me really bad motion sickness for some reason. I don't know why, but I had to stop playing it because I got super nauseous. I haven't really gotten back to it since. I've been meaning to. I have like thought about playing it on stream, even though I already like played a little bit. But I'd have to like check if I don't get motion sick again. And yeah. But I've been also one of the reasons I wouldn't want to play it on stream is because I'm real bad at like the controls for the spaceship and that stuff. Like I managed to somehow get stuck in the planet once. I spent the entire time just trying to get my ship out, and once I finally did, it was already the end of the thing. So I doesn't remember if I did. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's start case 4. Luna, hello bunny, how you doing? Up until now, we've been following the story of Tyrone Qbert. We've experienced the world through his eyes, and fought for justice through his soul. But this time, why don't we start from Okay, come on. It's gonna be a lot of reading today. We can't already start mumbling and messing up things now. Just deep breaths. We got this. We got this, me. Thanks, me. I'm right. Thanks. How about you? I'm sleepy, but I'm doing okay. I think. My speaking is leaves something to be desired by the looks of it. I never played Outer Wilds. How is that? Gotta remember to not top out during X-Force loading. Wilds is something else. Yeah, Wilds is like it's like basically a grand mystery of sorts from what I've seen. I've like I watched like a very long time now. I watched a video that was like, oh, this game is like really cool, and I'll show you like the beginning bit, and if you don't want spoilers so you can play it for yourself, then tap out now. And I tapped out, and so I know very little of it. And if we please could not spoil it, because the owl still needs to experience. But this time, why don't we start from the perspective of another? Ooh, so we're gonna see not from Tyron's side. Oh, Ruby. I can't believe Hubert read the client's mind without asking. It's starting to become a problem. He's becoming more and more reckless with each passing year. I wish Frey was still alive. She would know what to do. She made it look so effortless, and he loved her. Would he have listened to her if she was still here? Beatrice Fregra. Huh. Gonna deal with the Fregras now. She looks pretty. I always really like to see how other people do like very light or like white hair, because I find that very difficult to shade. Is something the matter, Tamora? No, I was just thinking about something. Well, the trial's about to begin. I don't doubt your abilities, but I'd still appreciate if you remained focused. All of our futures are at stake, after all. Of course, Miss Fregra. Still really like the Steel Wind's hair, so silky looking shading. Yeah. Beatrice takes in a deep breath before she claps her hands together. What's wrong? Nothing. It's just a ritual I used to calm myself. Right. I suppose we all deal with stress differently. But more importantly... What are you doing here? Oh no, it's her. It's her. No, 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 no. Bad side. Bad side. Nope, 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 no, no, no. No thanks. I'm good. Goodbye. I leave now. My father sent me to guide Beatrice through the courthouse. It's a new environment for her, and we were both worried about her condition. I still can't believe you were the boss's daughter this entire time. Who is the boss? Also, no, Oh, fun fact, I mentioned it about Ilmater already, but Timer is also... Tamora is also a D&D deity. Huh. Neat. Why didn't you say anything at the academy? Oh, knowing my true identity would have caused friction with your son, wouldn't it? Holy shit, diving right after waking up. Try speaking right after waking up. I've fumbled so many sentences already. He's not my... Anyways, I suppose I understand why you stayed quiet. But I still don't appreciate being kept in the dark about this. Oh, speak of the devil. You spot Hubert and McCoy walking into the courtroom with the other members of the gallery. McCoy spots you and gives you a friendly yet awkward smile. However, Hubert ignores you entirely and walks silently into the courtroom. Oh, what happened? What happened? Parental troubles? We had an argument earlier. It's nothing to worry about. If you say so. You are wary about what he saw in Beatrice's mind, though. He has always been a good kid, but his idealistic sense of justice clouds his judgment sometimes. You just hope that he's not planning to do anything reckless. Oh dear. The trial's about to begin. Do you really have the time to be making small talk here? Prosecutor Steelwind approaches the three of you. But she appears to be accompanied by someone else. Oh? Hello? Nightgrave? Is that you? What are you doing here? Well... He's accompanying me as my aide for this case. That's interesting. What? What has happened? Usually we get to see a little snippet of what went down, but this time we do not. And I am so curious what the heck is going on. I see, so I assume you'll be prosecuting? Of course, I would never pass up the opportunity to face the infamous Ruby Tamora. Really, if I recall correctly, you haven't even beaten time once so far. Oh no! Did you really need to do her like that? I agree. Like, that was not necessary. You didn't need to do that, Ruby. You did not need to go so hard. Miss Steelwind, don't strain yourself. What's that look for, Beatrice? You almost look surprised to see me here. Considering the circumstances, I thought you might recuse yourself. I am more than capable of being objective. Especially for a case of this much importance. Well, I hope your mind is as strong as you think it is. What is it with all of these people not trusting me? Leave Aria alone, she's good. Miss Steelwind, please calm down. Oh, how I love a good reunion. How I love a good reunion. I know how to say this word, reunion. There we go. Oh, how I love a good reunion. court is now in session for the trial of Beatrice Fregra. Miss Steelwind, is the prosecution ready? Miss Steelwind? Oh, of course. Ooh, that is unusual for her. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Ooh, she looks so cool, so professional. Something seems off about her today. Yeah, she's usually focused. Is her personal attachment to this case distracting her? Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, could you please list the charges? Your Honor, the defendant is charged with first-degree murder and grand theft. As many of you know, Beatrice Fregra is the formerly missing daughter of the now late William Fregra. And the victim of the murder is William Fregra himself. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Oh, a high noble got murdered. Okay. Yeah, no, that's bad. That's real bad. Patricide? Potentially. But assuming that we always defend someone who's actually innocent, she might actually be innocent. Then again, we're not the one defending her. It is Ruby. So she might actually be guilty. Story-wise. In any case, we're coming out swinging. We have Eris here, which I don't like. I don't like Eris being here. Eris being here is a very bad sign. We do not like that. The boss, as mentioned. We do not know who the boss is. We just know the boss is probably a bad sign. Because Eris is his daughter. Yeah, I still think she's some kind of, like, cosmic entity of Discord, but... Also, apparently, Tyrone and Ruby had a big argument after Tyrone read, like, Beatrice's mind. Also, Nightgrave is here. The boy, the guy. So, like, big reunion. Eris was right, like... I mean, if she's here just to watch, like, everything go up in flames, then... I mean, I can see why she's hoping to see that, because this feels like it's gonna go real bad. Nothing's wrong with being friends of Discord, even Fluttershy is. Nah, this is not... Different Discord. This one doesn't seem as nice. From at least the little things I know. I had a very young step-sibling that watched My Little Pony, so I know exactly what's going on there, but... Nope. Yes, I'm well aware of that. The people of Wivengard will certainly mourn the loss of House Fregra's head. And he will mourn the loss of his head, his body. Please, the only people mourning him are the banking house's shareholders. But anyways, did you also say that the defendant is accused of grand theft? No, in that case, Captain Picard is friends with him. I also know that his voice actor, like, played, like, yeah, wasn't he also, like, some kind of cosmic, like, chaos-causing entity there, too? He was very typecast. Q. Yeah, that was it. Yes, Your Honor. The crimes took place during the Lord's Ball, an event that was hosted in Freka Manor yesterday evening. Oh, we're gonna see people. We're gonna see the dress. Cute Alstream. No, very serious. I'm a very serious attorney. Only I'm currently not doing the case. Our mentor is. Haraldson Hall of History has a gallery display within the manor. They were showcasing several magical artifacts donated to Wivengard Historical Society. One of these items was the Sword of Spell Eating, a magical artifact that allows its wielder to nullify magical effects. And it was stolen. Oh shoot. We, the prosecution, believe that the defendant stole this item. She then used it to nullify the magical lock on the victim's study. After breaking into the study, she attacked the victim and slashed his throat open using a letter opener. Why would she use a letter opener if she had a sword? But sure. He died of blood loss shortly after. Oh, he doesn't look nice. In-game logic states that he's actually meanie. I see, but what possible motive would the defendant have to murder her own father? William Fredra and his daughter were not close. Saying that they had a strained relationship would be an understatement. He was an absolute jerk, Your Honor. I do not agree, but I understand why. In fact, 5 years prior to the murder, Beatrice abandoned and fled her home. Oh, poor Beatrice. She went into hiding and did not contact any of her friends or family. Her whereabouts are unknown, until she suddenly contacted her father a week ago. My client left the Fraker household because of her toxic relationship with her father. She wanted to create a life for herself that was free from his influence and abuse. I won't disagree with your claims, but that just highlights how desperate the defendant must have been. She had clearly fallen on hard times and begrudgingly contacted her father for financial aid. I can't possibly understand why they would schedule this meeting during the Lord's Ball. But nevertheless, several witnesses did see her that night. And these same witnesses saw her storming out of her father's study in anger. Her father must have refused her request for gold, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance. Luckily, we prepared for this in advance. Yes, they are playing right into our hands. William Fragra's inheritance? ? Has been added to your notes. What you're saying is all conjecture, Steelwind. You don't have any evidence or testimony that confirms that they spoke about what they spoke about. Yes, I'm well aware that you and your client have refused to tell us what was discussed during that meeting. But as long as you both stay silent, my claims are plausible. Ooh. Be honest, Steelwind. Do you seriously think that my client committed these crimes in spite of her condition? Condition? What do you mean by that, Mr. Mora? Why don't you tell him, Steelwind? Tell the court about my client's disability. Your Honor, Beatrice Frigra is considered legally disabled. However... Yeah, the Ruby's court sprites are cool. Legally disabled? That is a convenient way of putting it, Steelwind. So confident. My client isn't just legally disabled. She's completely blind. Oh. Completely blind? Is this true? We have several medical documents and testimony from several surgeons attesting to that fact. My client is unable to see anything. So that's why she has the clear, like, anime eyes. They always use the gray to indicate blindness. Toss a ball to... No! Don't be mean! You can check if someone is blind without hitting them in the face with a ball. What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? Do you expect me to believe that a blind woman performed any of the acts you're accusing her of? I mean, blind people can do a lot, but I would imagine it's kind of hard to stab someone. In the neck, specifically. Like, that requires aiming exactly where the neck is, and that would be really hard if you can't see. That's right, use a great... No! I didn't say throw it at her face. She is blind. She's not going to be able to, like, catch and or move out of the way. She might accidentally move in... You can accidentally stab someone, yes, but probably not accidentally stab someone in the neck. Nor would you be able to probably distinguish which of the magical artifacts you need to break into. Like, breaking glass is already dangerous, but breaking glass as a blind person without being able to see where the shards are is like... There's no way she would be able to elegantly do that without seeing, I imagine. Or does she aim for where his breathing sound was? Well, breathing is very light, and also the breathing sound doesn't exactly come from the neck. And even then, if she's blind and she went forward and slashed, there's a very high likelihood that she'd still miss because the other person can see and they can see where she is like aiming at. Also, she wouldn't even have been able to find the paper cutter in his office because she's blind. She wouldn't even notice the paper cutter unless it was literally handed to her. Like, unless she knows where it is beforehand, which is very like there's no way. Either magic and or being framed. Like, but I think potentially magic because it's a magic game, but like you usually to stab someone you need to see where you're stabbing. Swinging it around wildly would make it very easy for the other person to just move. I'm glad you also see how ridiculous these claims are, Your Honor. If the court would just let me elaborate. Steelwind, the prosecution's first charge is grand theft. My client would have needed to break into a magically secure display case. Performing such an act would be a difficult task for anyone, much less my client. And the second charge is first-degree murder. My client would have needed to use the sword of spell eating on the lock leading to the victim's study. Then she would have needed to grab a letter opener, overpower the victim, and deliver a precise and fatal blow to the victim's neck. Making all the points I was making. Does any of that sound like a reasonable theory, Your Honor? I'm compelled to agree with you, Miss Tamora. It all sounds quite ludicrous, to be perfectly honest. This is just awful. The Steelwinds are clearly just attacking the traitors now that their heads is deceased.
Objection!
Enough! Your Honor, the court has not seen the evidence that supports this case. Nor have you listened to the Inquisition's testimony regarding their investigation. Until you have done so, you are in no position to pass judgment. She is true, that's fair. Very well, Miss Steelwind, I suppose you have a point. These people really like to jump to conclusions prematurely. Never stabbed an actual person, so I got no idea. I need to practice stabbing with a blindfold. No, let's not do that. I guess the young lady has some claws after all. But it doesn't matter. Their case against Beatrice is questionable at best. Frankly, it's surprising that Steelwind even went through with this. It's only a matter of time before the judge sees things your way. I guess it's kind of their job to assume... Well, they're supposed to make a judgment after they've gotten all the facts. They really like to jump to conclusions here, but usually, in a court case, like, both sides get time to explain their side before any kind of judgment is made. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Oren White to the stand. Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings. Right. We didn't want to cause a panic after the sword was stolen, so we activated the manor's silent security system. It put an anti-magic field over the entire manor. We did a search of the house, and we found the stolen sword in the defendant's bedroom. It didn't look like she was going to run, and Crown Prince Aster told us to stand down, so we just kept a close eye on her. William Fregra was in a bad mood that night, so he had already locked himself inside his study. But an hour later, we entered the study and found him lying dead in a pool of blood. The lock was still engaged, and no one teleported in. The perp must have temporarily disabled the lock using the sword of spell eating. We have testimonies that says the defendant was seriously in debt. She must have murdered the victim to get a part of his inheritance. Your case against Beatrice is just as you predicted. And you already have a countermeasure to disprove the existence of any motive. She wouldn't have gotten the inheritance in the first place. All you have to do is present that to the court. Oh? We gotta do that? Oh, we playing as Ruby. I wanna press on the anti-magic field. Wait. Doesn't the sword make the wielder immune to magical effects? An anti-magic field would have only disempowered everyone except the thief. Yeah, well, we didn't know what the sword could do until after the investigation. Up until then, we thought it was just a dusty old artifact. That seems pretty negligent. Are you sure you're qualified for your position? Or Ruby? Ruby's out for blood. Damn. The situation was unprecedented for everyone involved. One could hardly expect an ancient artifact to have magical capabilities. Oh, thank you, Aria, for one. You're standing up for Orem. Anyways, what did you do after the theft, Commander? That seems like a strange conclusion to jump to. My client hadn't stepped foot in the Fragrant Manor for years. After being gone for so long, her bedroom had to have been repurposed for something else. I'm not sure about the details, but one of the defendant's sister refused to let the servants disturb that room. I guess she was hoping that her sister would come back one day. It's an ancient artifact. Of course there's a chance for it to have magical powers. It's an ancient artifact in a very magic world that was behind, like, lock and key. It definitely would have had magic powers. Of course, it makes sense that if it wasn't used, that people wouldn't know anymore what the magic powers was. But still. Dave. Aww. And why would the prince tell you to stand down, Orem? Well... Crown Prince Aster knew the defendant well. He was confident that she wasn't going to flee the scene. Are you sure that he just knew her well? Oh, don't implicate the prince. That's Aria's not gonna like that. If I recall correctly, the prince is still very adamant about her innocence. Crown Prince is vouching for the defendant? Is this true, Miss Steelwind? It is. However, I believe that the evidence found throughout the investigation proves the contrary. Ooh, she's going against the prince. Are you sure your judgment isn't simply being clouded by your jealous... Ruby! Ruby, chill! Ruby, no! Stop! Just... No need to murder. There's already been enough murder. Yeah, your fiance was previously engaged to my client after all. Ruby, chill, lady, please. Yeah, good, don't give her a response. You're enjoying this a bit too much. Even Beatrice is like, hey, chill, please. Calm down. I know my life is on the line, but like... Did anyone see him enter the study? A few people. One of them was Leigh Fregra, the victim's second daughter. She said that he was really irritated that night, so he went into his study for some peace and quiet. I guess his meeting with the defendant put him in a bad mood. But if the manor was covered in the anti-magic field, how did he lock the door magically? I'm not sure how, but the locks in the manor aren't affected by the anti-magic fields. How? The magical locks generate a smaller anti-magic field around themselves. Anti-magic on top of anti-magic, damn. The two fields cancel each other out. It's like multiplying two negative numbers together. So then and someone else had to do to get in is to generate the third anti-magic field around the lock to make it cancel the cancellation. Then, by that logic. I think I know what happened. I'm going to be honest, I have no understanding. Oh, that's Ruby. I'm going to be honest, I have no understanding of these things. Is what she's saying true, Beatrice? Yes, overlapping anti-magic fields are a well-studied phenomenon. You'll just have to take her word for it. Who was the person that discovered the body? The same person who saw him last. His daughter, Leigh Fregra. Poor Leigh. That must have been traumatizing for her. Did anyone else accompany Leif when she happened upon the body? Yeah, supposedly one of the servants got himself locked in a nearby storage closet. And he heard the violent attack through one of the air vents. When he finally got out, he told Leif and they went into the study accompanied by some knights. Sword is integral to the case against my client, so why is the description of its capabilities so vague? To be honest, the sword is magic, but it doesn't seem to behave like any spells we know about. And we can't identify its magic like we usually do with artificery devices. According to Lord Haraldson, its powers are demonic in nature. Oh, that can't be good. But if you ask me, it's all a bunch of hooey. Anyways, it's obvious that it doesn't follow the normal rules of magic. Wait, what? What is it, Mr. Mora? It's nothing. Hubert's watching from the gallery, so he must have heard that too. Ooh, a demonic sword that doesn't follow the normal rules of magic. Guess who else doesn't follow the normal rules of magic? A certain guy named Hubert. Is he... Does he have demonic magic? Up for question. Eris certainly has some demonic magic, something going on. But the Eye of Horus has something to do with demons? No, focus on acquitting the client first. You can worry about Hubert later. Is he a demon is the better question. I don't think he's a demon. Eris, that might be, but I don't think he is. Or, well, maybe he is and he doesn't know, but I doubt it. Either way, we tested the sword's magic on similar locks. When used correctly, it is capable of disabling the lock on Lord Fregra's study. You have testimonies. Wouldn't an official record be more valid evidence? Mr. Mora, you and I both know that your client's creditors are not the type to keep such records. So you're admitting that you're relying on hearsay. One could conclude that. But it doesn't matter if we can prove that this debt exists. The Fregra estate is unimaginably vast. Debt or no debt, the amount of wealth that would be tempting boon to any individual. She has a point, as Fregra owns all of the banking houses in Wivengard. Yeah, the monopoly never hurt anyone. How would that ever go wrong if one noble house controlled all of the banking? That would be fine, surely, totally, not at all. People can only dream of having that much power and wealth. The prosecution's case against Beatrice is already really weak. You're not even sure why they bothered bringing this trial in the first place. And you already have testimony from someone else that directly contradicts the commander's testimony. Once you present that to the court, the case is as good as yours. Well, let's look in what I have. Yeah, so... yeah, she doesn't receive any... will be confirmed by Miriam Fregra in court. Okay. Yeah, so she doesn't get inheritance, so that's what we got to press against. So we are going to present that she wouldn't have gotten any... Your Honor, the prosecution's case against my client is riddled with holes. And the prosecution's proposed motive is the largest amongst them. What do you mean, Mr. Mora? Of all the elements in this case, the motive is the most believable. Your client would have had much to gain through her father's inheritance. That may be, but that's assuming my client had anything to inherit at all. What? Your Honor, my client fled from her psychologically abusive father 5 years ago. How do you think he would have reacted to that? Lord Fregra was a petty and vindictive man. Do you honestly think that he'd leave his inheritance to someone who disobeyed him so egregiously? No, he'd do everything in his power to make sure she didn't see a shred of his wealth. Yes, we are already well aware of this. The moment she slams her cane down, you notice the prosecutor wince a little. Oh, why? Is her arm hurting? But she quickly hides and regains her composure. Oh no, is Arya alright? On the night of the murder, the victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. However, his murder deprived him of the opportunity to submit his will to the attorney. This only further proves the defendant's motive. She would have needed to act quickly, lest her father submit the changed will. I'm afraid you're mistaken, Steelwind. William Fragrant didn't disinherit my client that night. He disinherited my client 5 years ago. I have witness testimony from Miriam Fragrant, William's youngest daughter. By her own admission, her father disinherited my client shortly after she fled the household. What? She never brought that up during questioning. Perhaps she's not as amicable as you thought. If you don't believe me, why don't we call her to the stand and ask her ourselves? What are you planning, Mr. Mora? I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, it's clear we won't get anywhere until we hear from Miriam directly. Bailiff, please escort Miriam Fragrant to the stand. Is the defense correct? Did your father disinherit Beatrice 5 years ago? Yes. Oh, she's not looking very confident. Although they all have the greyish eye, so I guess in this case they're not using it as a shorthand for this person is blind. And you didn't think it was necessary to share this information with me? But, well, you never asked. If I recall correctly, you're also tight-lipped during questioning this morning. Are you staying quiet for your sister's sake? The witness just lost her father. You can't hardly expect her to recall every detail that is relevant to the case. Which raises a more concerning question. How did you extract this information? Who knows? Maybe I just have a way with people. Regardless, I suppose you have a point. I'll give the witness the benefit of the doubt. For now. In any case, Miriam, please testify to the court about how you found out about Beatrice's disinheritance. Yes, of course. Oh, poor Miriam. One day, we all woke up and discovered that Beatrice had fled from her home. She left a note for us, and in it she renounced her name and denounced my father. My father later called me and my sister into his study. He told us that he'd completely disowned Beatrice and removed any claim she had to the Fragrant estate. It was probably a threat to us in case we ever chose to go down the same path she did. He wanted to make an example out of her. That all happened 5 years ago. And are you sure this all happened 5 years ago? Yes, and even now, I can remember everything clearly. Ooh, that's never a good statement in these kind of games. I see. Her speech is getting slower. Is she deep in thought? Nightgrave seems extremely concerned for some reason. Something is up with Arya. And I'm worried for her. And Leave was there with you at this meeting. Yes, she was. Arya? Please? Don't collapse in court. I don't think she's doing so good. Oh, she changed her sentence. However, Leif couldn't have possibly been there. Her words are getting more slurred. You also notice their balance is slightly swaying. No, Arya. Arya? Don't hurt my... Like, she's good. She's a nice one. Hey, aren't you okay? Of course She went down. What? By the skilled lord. Is that blood? Wait, what? What? Hold up, what? Blood? They didn't just murder her, right? They didn't just murder our homegirl, right? They better not. But blood. Bailiff, find anyone capable of casting healing magic. Escort them to the courtroom immediately. Well, good thing for us that Nightgrave is here. After some scrambling, a couple of healers are able to help Nightgrave stabilize the prosecutor. Good thing that, like, the one person studying healing magic and all of flipping winning guard is here. Like, really in-depth studying healing magic. In all the chaos, you caught a glimpse of her. There were deep wounds on several parts of her body. She must have used some kind of illusion to hide them, but her disguise is completely dissipated now. Why would she go into court, like, bleeding? So wait, she wasn't murdered in court, she was, like, coming in wounded? And hiding it with an illusion, that's why she winced? Arya! Arya, you idiot! Why would you go into a place still actively bleeding? Before Steelwind is taken out of the courtroom, you catch her whispering something into Nightgrave's ear. You see a look of confusion from him, but he nods and makes his way to the witness stand. But not before passing a message on to the bailiff, who seems equally confused. Just what the hell is going on? Mr. Nightgrave, explain yourself. What is going on? Why was Miss Steelwind so gravely injured? I'm sorry, but I wasn't actually here as Miss Steelwind's aide, I was here as her healer. What? Her healer. The truth is, Miss Steelwind was violently attacked at noon today. She was in critical condition, but she insisted on prosecuting the case anyways. I owed her a favor, and she asked me to channel my necromancy to keep her wounds closed during the trial. Skilled Lord, why didn't she just recuse herself? She must have known. If anyone else tried to prosecute Beatrice, he would have handily won the trial. Nevertheless, she showed up to prosecute because no one else would, and she did all despite the risk to her life. It almost makes you respect her a little. Almost? You big respect the young lady. She is doing her job well. And she's one of the few people that will actually like, prosecute anyone regardless of their status if they need prosecuting. She is the other side of the coin that you're on. Anyone needs a defense, but also anyone needs to be able to be prosecuted. Like, if someone did wrong, they need both sides for a fair trial. Almost. Almost? Anyways, is there any need to prolong this trial, Your Honor? Ruby! I mean, I get you want your client out, but seriously. What? Even you must acknowledge how weak the case against my client is. In addition to that, Miriam's testimony shows that my client had nothing to gain from her father's death. Miss Demora, Miss Steelwind has been gravely injured. And you're still only concerned about... The only thing I'm concerned about is seeking justice for my client. Ruby has no chill. She's flipping ruthless. Even so, we cannot move forward until we find another prosecutor. And how long do you think that will take, Your Honor? It's almost been 12 hours since the murder took place. That gives us what, 36 hours? After that, every magical trace at the crime scene will fully disappear. But there might be someone... Oh wait, hold up. Are we going to prosecute? Are we, Keyword, going to prosecute against our own teacher? If Steelwind had simply allowed another prosecutor to work this case, we wouldn't be in this situation. Ruby! Ruby, chill! Stop gloating. It's enough. You're very cool, but this is just mean. Like, I guess... I understand that you probably become very ruthless with how unfair this trial system is, but Steelwind is not... Arya is not the cause of it. She took a risk and now she has to pay the price. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? You're not exactly proud of winning this way. But this is what it takes to win, and you won't let an opportunity like this pass you by. Yeah, Ruby isn't of the mindset of win at any cost, because it's so hard to win. The judge is clearly unhappy with this turn of events, but it's out of his hands now. Well, due to today's unprecedented events, I suppose I have no choice. There aren't any prosecutors available to immediately take Miss Steelwind's place. We will take a brief recess. After that, I'll deliver my verdict. Well, that's
Objection!
Oh. 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 Oh! Oh, shoot! Oh, flip! Hydration check. I had a feeling. At least I had a hope. We are going to do Aria's job. We're going to help her. We're on the other side. Holy flip. We're going up against our teacher. Her keyword is like, no, justice is justice. And justice means both defense and a prosecutor. And if there's no prosecutor, well, guess what? Oh, shoot. Heck yeah, I'm so hyped. I don't have an emote for how hyped I am. I'm super hyped. Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Hubert? Hubert? What the hell are you doing? She angry. She will angry. If there's no prosecutor, he becomes a prosecutor. What? Yeah. Basically, he's like, no. Justice has two sides. And if Aria isn't here to do this prosecutor thing, then guess what? I'll step in. I don't know. He didn't think this through at all. He was just like, wait, hold up, objection, wait, hold up. Now I got to follow through. No way. But what I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Straker's testimony. But it looks like things aren't going to be as simple as she expected. Yes? Oh my goodness. The night before. Oh, we're going back. I feel so out of place here. Despite your clear hatred for the nobility, you found yourself as a party filled with aristocrats. You hardly recognize anyone, but many of the people here clearly recognize you. Ooh. You're used to receiving dirty looks from the upper class, but you can literally feel everyone's disdain for you. Why are you in the corner by yourself? I'm trying not to get murdered, Celeste. I can't believe I let you talk me into coming here. Oh, she's in a dress! She's in a dress because Celeste's in a dress and she looks so pretty! For reasons unknown, you lose your train of thought. Well, she is very pretty in that dress. I've been wanting to wear this dress for a while now. What do you think? Hubert, get a hold of yourself. What's wrong? You suddenly feel extremely flustered. It's difficult to make eye contact with her. Oh, come on, it's a pretty dress, but it's not that, like, intense. Like, it's a good dress. Oh, I see. Oh no. That is the look of someone having mischievous intent. Are you enchanted by what? Celestial. Come on, say something. Oh, look at her. Look at her. She's cute. Uh-oh. Oh. Did we just talk about hiccup? It seemed like I was disconnected from the chat room for a second. Are we good? Okay, no, I think I could. That worried me for a second. Ever since the night in Orinax, you felt something has been off between you two. We are good, I think. Okay, I got worried there. I don't know why. I hope there wasn't a hiccup on stream. Am I interrupting something? Mr. Mora? I wanted to check in on you two before we went to meet with Lord Freydra. He spotted a woman silently following behind her. Is she the client that Mr. Mora is representing? Not on a note. Okay, thank you, Shadow. I appreciate it. You're pretty sure this is your first time meeting her, but she still looks familiar for some reason. Yeah, might it be that she looks like a Freydra? Hi, I'm Tyrone Hubert. I'm Mr. Mora's ward. You extend out your hand to shake hers. But she doesn't see that, so she doesn't extend hers. She has an aristocratic air to her, so you hope you're not being too informal. Instead of taking your hand, she clasps her hands together and takes a deep breath. What? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine. Oh. Nevertheless, she finally shakes your hand. Oh. Oh. I see. She's using sound detection. That's why she claps her hands. There are people that are blind that can use sounds to basically estimate how far something is, but I don't think it works for something like handshakes. I think that is too mild of a difference. Of course, this is a magic world and the game is taking some liberties, but that is interesting, so that's why she claps. She uses the sound waves it creates to determine where she is. And that's why she clapped just now, so she could find his hand. I don't think that would work in real life, but there apparently was a case of a blind man who could use quote-unquote echolocation, not actually echolocation, but I could use sound to basically determine how far away he was from something, so he could actually ride a bike and like not hit stuff. I don't know how that works, but yeah, basically echolocation, but just like not as advanced, because humans can't use that advanced, and also like no constant high pitch screeching, but it sorta like apparently humans can do something that has a rough estimate of it, which does make sense. Like if you had a constant sound that travels a certain distance, and then you could sort of hear how it bounced back, and like I can see how you could estimate big objects with it. Like if you were like walking around in a house and you were to do that, you would probably be able to tell if there's a door like shut right in front of you, because you could like hear that sound getting stuck. Most blind people with canes can tap it on the ground and you can hear the ricochet of the sound against the wall or step. Yeah. I can see how that would work, but I don't think it would work with something as fine as like a hand. Anyways, Christine, I've heard much about you, Mr. Hubert. My name's Beatrice. You're not sure about the details, but your mentor appears to be brokering a deal between Beatrix and William Fregra. William Fregra is the ruling lord of House Fregra, so you're a little curious about what kind of deal he'd be involved in. But you've learned not to pry into your mentor's business. Anyways, we'll probably be gone for a while. Can I trust you two not to cause trouble? You're in a manor filled with the highest members of nobility. You might meet some familiar yet unfriendly faces. We'll keep a low profile, Mr. Mora. Please do. Why are they even here? So, why were you so insistent on accompanying Mr. Mora to the Lord's Ball? Ah, that's... Oh, scared? You know you can tell me anything, right? Oh. I guess everything that happened in Oranax made me think about things. I don't really know anything about my past or where I came from. I didn't want to think about it because of my dad and mom, but... You wanted to find out who your biological parents are. I do, but I don't know now. Being here is starting to make me feel weird. I still have my mom, and looking for my birth parents feels wrong somehow. I don't think that's true. Really? Mr. Mora adopted me when I was a child, and she gave me a purpose in life. But I still keep my childhood memories of my mother close to me. Mr. Mora and my mother are both important to me. I don't think it's disrespectful to find out more about yourself, and I'm sure your mother will understand. You think so? Of course. And I'm also sure of another thing. If I'm with you, I doubt any of the nobles here will want to speak with you. Yeah, I didn't want to be rude, but... Don't worry, I can find something to fill the time. You're just going to play chess alone, aren't you? Maybe. You really need to learn to talk to other people. Make some new friends or something. I don't think doing that on a noble ball is the best time for him to practice, considering basically everyone here hates his guts. I don't need more friends. I usually want to spend most of my time with you all. Anyways. Chiron. Oh. Anyways, I'm going to try to talk to some people. Yeah, I'll see you later. Celeste leaves to mingle with some of the other partygoers. You find yourself with very little to do, and you doubt anyone would want to engage in small talk from the likes of you. Your hand instinctively goes to your satchel. It contains your foldable chessboard. Well, it's not as if I have anything better to do. I should try to find an empty table to play on. Each table has a centerpiece of flowers on it. Most of the tables are filled. It doesn't look like you'll be able to play here. Yeah, I doubt you'd want to play in the big room anyway. Ooh, fancy. This place looks pretty quiet. There aren't any tables anywhere. Well, I could just play on the floor. Oh, scary dog. Scary dog. What the... While walking through the hallways, you suddenly find yourself face to face with a large wolf. Oh, scary wolf. Immediately upon seeing you, the wolf quickly gallops away. Did someone leave a door open? Now that wolf had a necklace. That was someone transforming. Foldable chessboard? Yeah, Tyron has a foldable chessboard with him. You think about telling someone, but you remember that the manor is full of nobles. You're sure a servant will spot it eventually, and it's not as if anyone will believe you anyways. A big doggo. A big wolf doggo. But it'd be probably best to find somewhere else to play. There are several jewels mounted on the wall, and they all look equidistant from each other. You already knew that a house Rhaegar is wealthy, but embedding jewels into the walls makes the place look pretty tacky. I think these magic things are probably meant to do something. I have a feeling this is like some kind of power generation room or whatever. I don't think they're there just for decoration. Oh, more art on the walls. You look further around the manor and find a room with several displays. It looks like a gallery of some sort, but it's slightly out of place here. There are a few nobles in the room, and they're all silently appreciating the exhibits. Perhaps Lord Fregra paid the museum to create some historical displays for the Lord's Ball. Now there's a face I haven't seen before. Oh! As you take a closer look at one of the exhibits, an old man approaches you. You look very different. Is that a monkey on his back? Hello, my name is Harold Haraldson. I'm the curator of this collection. Harold Haraldson? Is that a pseudonym or something? No. I see. Wait, he's a museum curator? He must be extremely knowledgeable about the Wyvernguard's history. You wonder, would you happen to know anything about the ancient dragons? Ah, like the skilled Lord Retalion. There are many pieces in this gallery, and some of them were items that were wielded by the 7 heroes of Wyvernguard. Legends say that some of these items were directly enchanted by Retalion himself. Enchanted by Retalion? Would that mean they also don't follow the rules of magic? Perhaps you should examine these items more closely. I want to look at the portraits first. It's a painting of some sort of scientist. That man is Dr. Luca Kupfer. He was an alchemist and inventor from one of the branch families. He's well known for his studies into imbuing intelligence into automatons. Intelligent automatons. Would that make them similar to our arcane constructs? Yes, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if Lord von Sanctus used Dr. Kupfer's research to create those constructs. So in essence, von Sanctus is taking credit for someone else's work. Typical. It's a painting of a researcher. This is Professor Matt Furland. He was a professor of some renown. He was a researcher of combinational magic theory. What's that? It's the study of how different types of magic interact with each other. He's famously ran an experiment on what would happen if 2 anti-magic fields overlapped each other. Ooh. That's actually pretty interesting. What were the results of the experiment? Well, they had mages enter the space where the 2 fields overlapped. It turns out that those mages were able to use their magic in that space. Wait, how would that be possible? They would have had 2 anti-magic fields affecting them. When the 2 fields overlapped, they cancelled each other out. I've heard that it's akin to multiplying 2 negative numbers together. It's a pair of metallic armbands. There are several magic runes carved into them. Those are armbands of intellect. They were actually created by a member of House Fregra many centuries ago. Centuries? That would make these armbands one of the first creations of artificery. That's correct. Legends say that whoever wore these armbands would be granted unparalleled levels of intellect. Many believe that House Fregra created these to aid them in their study of magic. It's a pair of golden earrings, and there are small jewels embedded into each of them. Those are the earrings of vitality. It's said that the skilled lord imbued a portion of his mortality into these. Legends say that whoever wore them would have their lifespan increased tenfold. The skilled lord could do things like that? Of course, he is the skilled lord after all. Are there any spells that can create a similar effect to these earrings? Not that I know of. A spell like that would probably fall under the school of necromancy. And I'm sure you know how much the kingdom scrutinizes that type of magic. The Crimson Red Short Sword. That is a sword of spell eating. Legends say that it has the power to protect its wielder from any kind of magic. So it's like an anti-magic field. In a way, yes, but it has less than heroic origins, I'm afraid. It's said that this sword was created through a blood pact between a mage and a demon. A demon? Legends say that some demons had the power to absorb and nullify magic. A demon must have imbued some of that power into the sword. Or at least that's what the legends say. Is it safe to put something like this on display? What if the legends are true? Don't worry, these displays are fortified with several abjuration spells. I bet even Lord Steelwind would have trouble getting into this. Huh, interesting. So, what is a historian doing at the Lord's Ball, Mr. Harold said. Harold. Right, Harold. Anyway, Lord Freya invites my museum to set up some displays every year. I must think it adds the semblance of culture. Ooh, he doesn't like Lord Freya in the slightest. Which means we like... we like historian guy. You own a museum? Yes, it's the Haraldson Hall of History, located in the city of Homerid. That's a mouthful. Unfortunately, I don't think his guests appreciate the historical significance of these items. Honestly, I think you're the only person in years who's taken a meaningful interest in them. Aww. Sorry, but I really have to ask, is that a monkey riding your back? Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene. Aww, he looks cute with his glasses. Your familiar? A familiar is a creature that a mage has formed a magical bond with. With that bond, our souls are forever connected. I can communicate with him telepathically. I could even cast spells through him if I wanted to. Really? I never knew a spell like that existed. It's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it. Ooh, so the big wolfo we saw might have been a familiar. Eugene helps me with my day-to-day. These old bones aren't as spry as they used to be after all. I mean Harold. Harold. As a historian, do you have a lot of knowledge about the ancient dragons? The answer to that question is somewhat complicated. What do you mean? Unfortunately, a lot of historical texts in my collection have been altered or even outright destroyed by the Church of Bahamut. Because of that, it's quite difficult to separate myths from actual historical accounts. Right, I remember encountering a similar problem at Imperial Academy. Ah, you must be quite dedicated to your studies. They let this simpleton into the Imperial Academy? Oh, he doesn't like that. Rude, but you suppose that can't be helped. I had to fight the church for a long time before I could even display dragon bones in my museum. In the history of the ancient dragons, was there any instance of them granting powers to humans? Well, of course, that's the entire premise behind the 7 heroes of Vivengard. Does this idiot not even know about that? Right, but was there anything before that? Did they ever grant supernatural abilities that didn't follow the rules of their arcane magic? Granting supernatural abilities, you say? That sounds more like something demonic in nature rather than draconic. Demonic? Much like the ancient dragons, demons are the stuff of myths. There are many stories of people selling their souls to them for untold power. Selling their souls. You recall the note that your mother left for you before she was executed. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gate as what I once did. She told you to use her eyes. Did your mother make a deal with a demon to give you the Eye of Horus? Is something wrong? The simpleton is far too superstitious. No, nothing's wrong. It's a bit too much to take in, but you might just be overthinking this. There haven't been any recorded sightings of demons in recent history. There are only second-hand stories and superstitions. The Eye of Horus can't possibly be demonic, can it? I'm starting to think it might be. You hope Celeste's investigation is going better than yours. Oh no. Oh, Celeste did not roll good on her diplomacy check. How dare you insinuate that I engaged in an adulterous relationship? That's not what I... Enough. If you try to speak with me again, I'll have the King's Guard throw you out. This isn't working. I don't think asking them like that will be very effective. What? Ooh! Arya! Arya, you look amazing! Look at her! Oh, we're getting such pretty dresses. And then a little flower in her hair. The earrings. The hair. Arya, you look amazing. Did you expect anyone here to be truthful with you? You're essentially asking them if they cheated on their spouses. Have you been spying on me? Not intentionally. I was just surprised to see you here of all places. Right, I guess that makes sense. That's a pretty dress. They both are wearing very pretty dresses. You're not party crashing, are you? Of course not. I came here with Ruby and Tyrone. That honestly raises more questions than answers, but I'll take your word for it. Anyways, you're looking for your birth parents, aren't you? Was I being that obvious? It's the only reason I could think of. Why else you be trying to speak with members of the nobility? I don't know if it's any of my business. But think hard about whether this is what you truly want. Getting entangled in the aristocracy will only bring you misery. I've read your file. You have everything you could ever want. You have your mother and your friends. You even have a lover. Wait, what? What? You're in a relationship with Mr. Hubert, are you not? No, Tyrone's not my... Really? From the way you two behave around one another, I just assumed. It's pretty obvious you have feelings for him. Arya, chill. What? How obvious? Did he seriously not notice? I think someone with his deductive reasoning skills would easily see through you. Oh, yeah? What about you and Hester? Celeste! Don't! I have no idea what you're talking about. Come on, I was there at Von Sanctus Manor. It's so obvious you like him. Please, you're grossly exaggerating things. He may be my fiancé, but I only have the utmost respect for him. No, Celeste, chill. And what if I told you he was standing right behind you? Do you honestly think I'd fall for something like that? No, he is right behind her. What are you falling for? Oh, she looks cute. Your Highness. Yeah, she's falling for him. Oh, it's a look at him. He's so pretty. Cute little child. Oh, hello, Lady Steelwind. Your Highness, please don't run ahead like that. Your conversation with Harold was definitely interesting, but you still find yourself with very few leads. Be it dragons or demons, the origins of the Eye of Horus still remains a mystery. You find yourself returning to the ballroom, and you spot Celeste in the corner with some other people. Ish, with Aster and Steelwind. Celeste, no! I understand why you're doing this. And you're being mischievous as all heck, but please, chill. Don't stir up things at the noble ball. Hey Aster, what do you think of Steelwind's dress? It suits you very well, Miss Steelwind. You look lovely. Hubert smashed dots again. Gross. As you approach the group, you stopped by a knight from the King's Guard. He stares you down. What? What? Repario Arcanum. That was the incantation for detect magic. The knight stares you up and down. Celeste hasn't cast any spells on you lately, so he shouldn't be able to see any traces of magic. Oh, Mr. Qbert. What was that all about? My apologies, they were making sure you weren't disguising yourself in an illusion. The King's Guard are charged with keeping us safe. They must take every precaution to protect us. Oh, and whom might you be? Do not speak so familiarity with me, peasant! Alaric, don't speak to him like that. Why shouldn't I speak to him as I please? Oh no, he's a spoiled child. I am Prince Alaric the Wyvern Guard Ford. I will not demote myself by showing courtesy to a commoner, he said as a 7-year-old. Doesn't he mean to me? I'm terrible sorry about him, Mr. Qbert. It's fine. Don't double. No, be easy on the child. He's 7-year-old and he's grown up in the nobility. Aster came out alright. Maybe he'll be able to, like, get his brother to chill out. Anyways, weren't you supposed to be investigating your birth parents? Oh, Tyrone, chill. Leave the poor woman alone. She started it. Doesn't be easy, is it? Guard that boy. No! You guys, chill. Just a 7-year-old kid. Right. I'm actually quite surprised to see you both here. What brings you to the Lord's Ball, Mr. Qbert? We were just accompanying Miss Demora. Her client has business with Lord Fregra. Her client? Ooh, Beatrice looks very unhappy. Beatrice? I was never that bland when I was 7, but you weren't raised by the aristocracy in a very aristocratic, like, our better environment. Send him to France and see if he comes back into 1, 2, or 5. No! He is 7. He has many years to change and become a better person. 7-year-old kids are very easily influenceable. If the adults around him are jerks, then he's going to mimic them. But his brother is a good bean. His brother seems to be... like... fine. Like, so his brother might be able to, like, get him to be nicer. Flip upside the head. No. We're going to be nice to the child. The gasp. Beatrice suddenly storms through the ballroom. She almost walks right past you before she hears Aster's voice. She looks furious. Did her discussion with Lord Fregra go badly? No, be nice. Oh, that voice. Is that you, Aster? It really is you. She called him Aster instead of Your Highness. Do they personally know each other? I'm glad to see you again. It's been quite some time. Oh. Is that really all you have to say? It appears you two have much to talk about. I'll be taking my leave. Oh, she's scared. He's scared. There's a bit of tension in the air. Just a smidge. Unless we should probably get going too. Yeah. Wow. That was awkward. Yeah, I wonder how those two know each other. Well, we learn later that they were previously engaged. She's working with Miss Demora, but she somehow knows Lord Fregra and the Crown Prince. Come on, look at her hair and her dress. She's clearly from the Fregra. I mean, I guess she can't assume everyone with light blue hair is a Fregra, but pretty much everyone with light blue hair is a Fregra. It seems that all the nobilities have interesting hair colors, which means that going off Celeste's hair color, she might be related to the prince, because they're the only ones that have like that pure white hair color, which is concerning. I'm not bullying. Only kids can bully kids. It's creepy when adults do it. And even kids shouldn't bully kids. Bully bad. Let me burn him first. Is known for lining stuff up. No. I ain't bullying the little hacker. I'm teaching him not to not be a little... Guys, chill out. It's a 7-year-old being raised by jerk nobles, but he's got a brother that isn't a jerk, so he might be able to turn him around. Nobody was perfect as a child. Just who is she? Well, you suppose it's none of your business. It'll be your business tomorrow. 7-year-old is old enough for the mines, and he's gonna die jerk noble if we don't... He's got time to learn. His brother is gonna teach him. Anyways, how did your investigation go? I got nothing. I think all I did was make a bunch of nobles mad. Yeah, you don't really have the tactical social stuff under like learned well. Sorry, I know you really want some answers, but I'm sure something will come up. Tactfulness, yeah, that one. You don't have the tactfulness skills to get that done if you directly ask them, hey, do you have a child that you, like, didn't claim as your own? Because that's pretty much, hey, did you cheat on your spouse? Which nobody's gonna just admit to a random stranger in a noble ball. You think so? Did you have a bastard child about 20 years? Yeah, exactly. Like, no, people are not going to admit to that. It might be a little irresponsible to give her hope like this. A noble abandoned her at a tavern in a rundown village. You doubt someone like that would make themselves easy to find. Anyways, I don't want this night to be a total loss. Come on, dance with me. Oh, she's scared but also happy. What? That's not really something I... Don't be like that. How often do we get to go to a party like this? Music change. The team, but lighter. Oh, it's a different time. Before you have a chance to object, she grabs your hand and starts dragging you to the middle of the room. You receive a few dirty looks from the aristocrats nearby. Celeste, people are staring at us. Who cares what they think? They're nobles. Screw them. They're going to hate us no matter what we do. She takes a hold of your other hand and begins to pull you into a waltz. I'm loving that they put the main team into waltz. Oh! I don't even know how to dance. I've never done this before. I love this. This is great. It's easy. Just stop being so awkward about it. That's easy for her to say. Alright, just tell me what I need to do. I'd be like, I cheated on my spouse in front of them, and they joined in. Oh, we're poly. Then it's not cheating anymore. If it's an agreement, I'm pretty sure cheating insinuates that you did it against, like, without their knowledge or against their wanting. It's not cheating if it's, like, an agreed upon thing. Well, first... Nah, in this old time fantasy you get hanged, poured in a cart for saying that as a noble. Yeah, and even if you didn't, you'd probably destroy your social reputation, which is pretty important as a noble. You need to be closer to me. Look at that pretty, look at the hair, look at the... Cute! With one swift motion, she pulls your body closer to hers. The gasp! Watch my movements and try to follow my lead. You seem to know a lot about these things. Ah, cute. This is such a pretty drawing. Look at that dress. Look at everything. I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary, so you'd think you'd be more tactful, but I guess talking to the nobility is different than talking to the non-nobility. Do you know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me? I see. You really don't know much about her, do you? You carefully watch the position of her feet and try to match her movements. After a while, you find yourself able to match her rhythm. but you still accidentally step on her foot every few beats. She doesn't seem fazed by it. Either she's being polite or she genuinely doesn't feel anything. You're getting it. But don't focus so much on where your feet are. Just look at me. What? Come on, do it. You try to break eye contact with her, but every time you do, you slowly find yourself being drawn back into her eyes. Oh, they're so cute. The shading on top and a gradual change to something more slow. Yeah! It's so good. Which makes it like stand out against the background really well, especially in this area. In the other parts it's slightly less, but it's good. It's very good. It makes you naturally like, it's good, but it's like there's not too much going on, which makes you naturally draw your eyes towards what is important, which is these guys. Playing within the rules is not cheating in both love and games. That's dumb, and it's so easy to be like, hey, I'm Polly, and want you to meet people I'm with, I want you to also be with it, so do same sees bliss. It's easy for you, but social suicide to do it in a time like this. And like, as an aristocrat in these sort of scenarios, like, your social standing is everything. As an aristocrat, if you don't, I mean, in most like situations, because of society, your social standing is very important, but especially as an aristocrat, I don't, like, without your social standing, you'll be just, I think you'll probably be worse off than a commoner without good social standing. Rules are so easy to discuss. Talk about what you're getting for lunch, talking about relationship rules should be and that easy. So why does it seem so hard for neurotypicals? Because neurotypicals assume that everyone follows the unspoken rules, whilst non-neurotypicals are so confused by all the rules that don't make any sense that they're like, okay, for clarity's sake, where are we standing? Because assuming never made any sense to me. And I think that like non-neurotypicals for that reason are more open to just discussing things because, well, the neurotypical rules never made sense, like at least not inherently. So it's like, okay, well, this like doesn't make any sense to me, so let's talk about what does make sense for us. As a commoner, it'd be easier to keep your head down, and if it goes tits up, you won't end up in a dungeon or go from a castle to a casket. Exactly. As a commoner, if you're known as like, I don't know, if you do something bad, but you're still a hard worker in the harbor or whatever, then people are like, well, yeah, he drinks too much and I think he likes dudes. Like, you're gonna be fine because he works hard, he does his job, he's reliable, it's fine. We don't care what he does in his free time. Whilst as a noble, like, what you do in your free time is very important. Yeah, it's not and flapping man cheeks. This is the best work we have. Yeah. Especially if like the nobles are that like strongly above the commoner class. Like if they have a little bit of sense, they'll just be sticking together. Like, yeah, it's infighting is like a bad idea for us. Let's just get along. Like, okay, you're weird and I don't understand you, but you're reliable, you work hard. You're a jerk when you had a few drinks, but you don't like do anything more than just insult that my dress, that I dress badly and that the colors I wear don't match me. Also in nobles a lot of times there was the whole bloodlines their heir expectation going on, and yeah, and they also are likely, like, for example, with just Aster and Beatrice and like Arya, they were all like, they didn't choose who they married. That was political marriages. So you don't even get to choose who you end up with. So for all you know, maybe you'll end up with your childhood best friend, and like even if you're not in love, it's like, okay, at least I have my friend here. Or you end up with like someone you despise and you have to have a child with them, if not multiple. Like, yikes. Because this is fantasy, they at least don't end up with their like next of kin, but still. Yeah, no one really want to keep the bloodline going. You playing rock, paper, scissors or getting carpet burn on your eyes, you're getting disowned and probably banned from the city. Yeah. You feel so embarrassed that you're becoming lightheaded, and you find yourself perspiring more than usual. Tyrone needs better deodorant. But at the same time, you don't have any urge to break away from her. There's a comforting warmth behind all the anxiety you're feeling. Ah, there it is, the infamous Tyrone Qbert. There he is, the infamous Tyrone Qbert. Never turns away from challenging a noble, but can't dance a step to save his life. Oh, Celeste. Expression doesn't portray a hint of it, but you're still detecting feelings of nervousness from her. Is she just as flustered as you are? You find yourself relaxing a bit more, and you're somehow able to continue matching her movements. Oh! 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 Look at the soft look they're giving each other. Kiss, 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 kiss. Yes, now kiss. See? There you go. She's just happy now. Although... what isn't? You know the man is supposed to lead, right? Oh, come on. He's never danced before. Maybe I don't subscribe to gender stereotypes. He knows very well that he has no chance. Or maybe you're just stuck at this. Oh my god, they're so cute. They are so cute. It's been a while since you felt this calm. There's always been something that you needed to prepare for. A client that needed saving, a culprit that needed catching. But you're quite content with this one brief moment you're able to spend with her. Little does she know someone is about to die. What did I stumble into? Tyrone and Celeste being adorable. Also, hello, Kaido. You almost find yourself getting lost in the mood. Until you spot a familiar face, accompanied by a legion of knights. No! And there it goes, the murder. No, don't tell me. Not again. Murder follows him everywhere he goes. The knight storms towards where Beatrice and Aster are. Several of the attendees take notice. They all stop what they're doing to see what's going on. Beatrice Frigga, by the authority of the Withengard Crown, you're under arrest. Did he just say Beatrice Frigga? Damn it, it was just getting good. She's like, I had my nice dancing moment interrupted for this bullshit. Could you guys all just not murder? Like, for one day, I want to go somewhere nice with Tyrone and not have someone die. We should go see what's happening, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's go. Can of course wait for like 3 hours. Tyrone can't take a step outside his house without someone murdering going on to ruin his... Exactly. Ooh. The Aster Scout. He doesn't pull that very often. He doesn't go serious mode very often. You are completely out of line, Commander. I thought I told you to stand down. Serious, Aster. He doesn't do that very often. He cares a lot about Beatrice. Little Prince following his lead. No, Little Prince. Do you not recognize who you're speaking to? Let go of Lady Freygra. I can't really do that, Your Highness. Aster, what is going on? It's Lord Freygra. He was found murdered in his study. And these cretins think that Beatrice is behind it somehow. He doesn't usually go like, I'm the flipping crown prince. You are all... You better flipping listen to me. I have the authority here. Like, but he knows how to do it. Sorry, Your Highness, but my orders come straight from Steelwind. Lady Steelwind sent you? Beatrice takes in a deep breath and clasps her hands together. I should go with them. What? No! My brother is right. You have no right to... I don't want to cause friction between you and Arya. She's always been meticulous. I'm just sure she's being careful. I'm sure they'll be exonerated once they thoroughly investigated what happened. Okay. Only if that's what you truly want. What? You can't just let them take her away? Brother, she's correct. It's not our place to interfere with the laws of our kingdom. But... However... Yes, your highness. Miss Beatrice is blind. One of your knights will need to escort her. She's what? Did he just say that she's blind? He's being so responsible instead. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to need to take you to a holding cell, lady. One of you should stay with her and guide her through... Please, I may be disabled, but I'm not a child. Beatrice walks past the knights and heads towards the foyer. It appears that she already knows the way out. Well, this was her home for, like, growing up, so... she'd probably exactly know where what is. Shouldn't you all be following her? Right. Inquisition. Move out. You definitely didn't expect the knights to go like this. Oh, come on, Tyron. You should have expected this by now. What is going on here? I'd like to save the progress, for sure. Oh, it's daytime now. Oh, dang. They kept them there the whole time. I think I need a little bit of a water break. Because I've been drinking a lot of water to do all the voices. Nobody expects the Arcane Inquisition. Oh my goodness. The joke has been here the whole time. Why didn't I make that before? That is amazing. That is... exactly. Nobody expects the Arcane Inquisition. Not even the Arcane Inquisition. No. Because nobody expects it. That's very clever there. That's very clever of the Shadow. I always wondered, like, was the Spanish Inquisition, like, also a thing outside of the Netherlands? Because, like, little itty bitty history thing for those who might not know. The Netherlands was under rule of the Spanish crown, like, until they, like, we revolted and became the Netherlands, like, separate. But before that, the reason the Spanish Inquisition came here was to deal with all the Protestants, because the Spanish king was like, you have to be Catholic. And then we said no. Pretty sure they invaded South America. Ah, okay. So they did that song and dance with multiple areas. Like, I wasn't sure. Like, I remember, like, learning about the Spanish Inquisition in history, and when I learned about, like, the joke of the Spanish Inquisition, it always confused me, like, is this just... did this happen in multiple places? Or did somehow a Dutch event, like get referenced? Like, I wasn't sure, because it felt like... this must have happened on a grander scale for it to be referenced. But my knowledge of history is kind of lacking. Like, I know the general lines, but I, for one, am very bad with dates, and also, yeah, mainly the bad with dates part, and I missed a lot of school later on, so... but yeah, I'm very sorry, but I have to take a very quick break to refill my water. So yeah, one sec, and I'll be back in 3 minutes. I'm gonna grab some water. I suggest you guys do the same, and then we continue trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And I'm back. Let's continue. Oh. Yep. Blah 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 blah. I'm back. Let's continue. There we go. I can't believe they kept us here until noon. The Lord's ball was already running well into the night, even before the murder occurred. You'd like nothing more than to catch up on your lost sleep, but you made a promise to Aster. This doesn't make any sense. Beatrice was with me and my brother the entire night. Right, you were there when she met with him in Steelwind. The Spanish Inquisition operated in Spain and its colonies. However, it is difficult to exactly say in which ones, because It basically was a secret police. She's back, tell a friend. Ah, I see. Yeah, so something at least called the Spanish Inquisition was sent here too. So they basically hunted down the Protestants, but even like the Catholics living in the area were like, hey, we're same religion and agree that this version is better, but also this is a little extreme. Could you stop? Like, this is not like they were getting uncomfortable with it. Like, it was like, eh. And then, very, very simplified, we said, revolt. And we were united despite the religious differences because nationalism. Very, very simplified. Which the surrounding countries didn't like very much because we were being like, we can be a country without a monarchy and a king in the time of monarchs and kings. And honestly, we lasted surprisingly long. And now we have a king because eventually we were made to have a king because the reasons. How nice for the Netherlands. Yeah, like our Declaration of Independence is actually what the American Declaration of Independence is very heavily based off, because we did the whole we're independent of the monarchy now thing before. That's why we're technically the united, like... Wait, Netherlands has a king? Yeah, the Netherlands has a king. We have a noble house. Basically, eventually, so we had something called a stadhouder, which is like a city overseer that was sort of taking the place of the ruler before that, but was never really the king, and it was like, I can't exactly reproduce, but it was more diplomatic. But then eventually, England basically placed shenanigans happened, and it became our noble house. That is very simplified everything, but I'm not going to be able to reproduce Dutch history, like translating it to English on a whim like that. I was decent enough at history back then, but it's been a while. History is difficult, exactly. Yeah, but technically our, like, what is it called in English? You know, when you have a historical figure that is seen as like the quote-unquote father of the country, like the... Whatever that is for us is William of Orange. That's why in the Netherlands, despite our flag being red, white and blue, by the way, our flag, those stripes, it's before the French flag looked like that, we were first. But our national color is orange. Founding father, that was the one. History is difficult, often multifaceted and never straightforward. Exactly. Yeah, our founding father is considered to be William of Orange. He got shot, by the way. He died. So we got reunited, united by him. Not reunited, we got united by him. Shenanigans happened. He got shot. Chaos happened, but we stayed together. But the whole idea of we're uniting despite our religion kind of half went out of the window because of that. So it didn't entirely become ideal, but it was still quite progressive for that time. Sort of, not really freedom of religion, but a little easier on it. He got shot in the Napoleonic Wars, right? No, I think that was before then. I think... I'd have to double check. I don't think it was exactly related to it. Because it was here in the Netherlands in I think a church or something? I'm not sure. Like I have to stop speaking now or they'll take away my Dutch license. This is my being bad with dates. Like, I'm like, did the Netherlands unite before or after the Napoleonic Wars? I think before. During? I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up after. Like, history is hard, and my brain only holds so much information. It's like, it's difficult because history you usually learn like in small chunks of this is what happened here at this time, but it is very rare it gets to zoom out and it's like, oh yeah, these historical events also happened in these times at the same time or around the same time. Like, you only later realize how late or early in history some stuff still happened. Like, for example, France still had the guillotine in use till like pretty late on. Like, it overlaps with some other things that you would consider more modern. I wouldn't be able to exactly quote it now, but it's like, wait a second, these two things were really close together because you taught them in like sort of almost separate vacuums, you don't consider them to be related. Gonna go for a bit, y'all have fun. Alright, have fun yourself, or good luck. But let's focus on the game, because my historical knowledge is not interesting enough, or well enough to discuss this. She couldn't have stolen the sword of spell eating and have murdered her father. I don't understand. Of all the people that could have done this, why would anyone suspect a blind woman? Mr. Cuber, could you defend Beatrice against these awful charges? I don't think I even need to. What? Beatrice is Ruby's client. I'm sure that she'll be the one defending her. Well, that certainly puts my mind at ease. What's wrong? I don't know if I'm asking too much. Could you still investigate the crime scene for me, Mr. Cuber? What? But you just said that Mr. Mora will... I know, and I don't doubt her abilities. But Beatrice is a dear friend of mine. I'd like every chance for her to be found innocent. He said that she was a dear friend. They must know each other since she's a Fragra. But why would Mr. Mora of all people represent a member of her noble house? There are still a lot of things you don't know about her. Fun fact, The Last Samurai could have sent a fax to Abraham Lincoln. Exactly. That kind of weird stuff. Like, hold up, what? Of course, I'd also compensate you for your services. Considering yourself to be blessed, a commoner like you could only dream of a job like this. Alaric, chill. Alaric, he's like, chill. The tiny prince has a point though. The payment from the crown prince does sound tempting. I can't believe this. Celeste returns to the ballroom. She's changed back into her normal clothes. What's wrong? And that was it. The last execution by the guillotine was in the same year as the first Star Wars movie. I know you told me before what the abbreviation means. And I keep forgetting. I really need to get a counter. Are we at 6 now? If I recall correctly, that's the one. Put it on a sticky note. I don't have sticky notes. And also, I'd like my area to be clean. I get distracted by stuff. Ironic. Yeah, I'm not recalling. I recall correctly. But that was the one with the guillotine that, like, wait, hold up. That happened? The people in the count room said that they couldn't find my sword. Oh, that's never a good thing. They told me that someone must have stolen it. What? That's not good. That's not good. That's very bad. Your sword got lost at a murder? That's bad. Look, we've been here before. I'm getting a déjà vu. Why would someone want to steal Celeste's sword? Maybe to do stabby stuff. Who knows? Aside from your group, everyone else at the ball was an aristocrat. You do recall her saying that it was fortunate the Eastern Kingdoms. Yeah. I mean, it was a nice sword. The other jerk noble had an interest in it. But, like, seriously? Someone might have stolen it because of its rarity. We can probably keep an eye out for it while we investigate the manor. This might all just be some kind of mistake. I hope so. Losing your weapon during a murder is real bad, Celeste. But anyways, where should we start first? We should head to the crime scene. I remember hearing that they found Lord Fragra's body in his study. Let's go over there. You mean the guards at the receptacle lost your sword? Yeah. Like, again? Into these tables. To be honest, looks kinda tacky. Their notion of aesthetics must fly over the head of peasants like us.
Repario Arcanum.
You arrive at the crime scene and you see the usual swarm of Inquisition knights. However, you also spot some members of the King's Guard. They must be working together since the victim is from one of the Pillar families. I wasn't expecting to see you here, Mr. Kubert. I thought Ruby Tomorrow was defending this case. Prosecutor Steelwind approaches you as you enter the study. And she's followed by an unexpected yet familiar face. Wallace? What are you doing here? He's here as my aide for the investigation. Oh, so she was already hurt here? You don't doubt Wallace's abilities, but you can't think of any reason why Steelwind would need his help. But you suppose it's none of your business. Anyways, we're here on behalf of the Crown Prince Alster. He hired us to investigate this case independently. I see. Oh. I'm sure he just wants to make sure the investigation goes smoothly. Well, if you're here on behalf of His Highness, I'll do whatever I can to help you. This whole situation is quite unorthodox, but your goal remains the same. Perhaps Steelwind can tell you more about what happened. Poor Steelwind. And can you tell me about the murder? William Prager was found dead in his room after the lockdown was lifted. Wait, lockdown? What? Lockdown? From what we can tell, his throat had been slashed open with a letter opener. The cause of death was blood loss. Both of his carotid arteries were severed. Here's the autopsy report if you want a detailed description. Body shows several scratch marks on the face and the back. Traces of illusion magic were also found in the body. Huh. Yeah. Autopsy report already. Were you able to find the murder weapon? Yes, the murderer left it at the crime scene. It was a letter opener owned by the victim. Okay. When did the dude die? 3:12 AM. Like, I think it said just now. Yeah, 3:12 AM. The murderer must have found it in his room and used it. Yeah, but it still takes time to do so. Not if both of your, like, carotid arteries are slashed. Like, if the arteries in your neck are slashed, like, properly, you die within seconds. Like, it is game over real quick. Because, like, you just bleed out near instantly. They've also got magic. True. There was one strange detail about the weapon. The handle was completely shattered. Yeah, they have a magic wave determining the cause of death. The only thing is that they can see the last things that happen to the body, but they can't see between. They can't tell what happened before or after death. So, say someone was murdered and then their arm was chopped off after they were murdered. They can't see if the arm was chopped off before or after with the magic. I mean, it happened at 3 AM. It's been at least 12 hours. Oh, like so. Yeah, they have magic detection stuffs. Autopsy reports still include a thorough examination of the body. Yeah, that too. Like, they still, like, they use magic to determine things, but they also just, like, examine the body. We're not sure what to make of that detail, but it's as if something crushed the handle using tremendous force. Are we having a situation of an automaton being used again? Because those tend to be way too strong. Are we gonna have another murder robot case? In which case, if this is the third case, like an flipping automaton was used to murder someone, I'm starting to think maybe they should just recall them all. The murder weapon was a letter opener. What could have caused the handle to shatter like that? You mentioned that there was a lockdown. When did this happen? You didn't notice? The Inquisition did try to be discreet. The automaton are killing the But everyone noticed the commotion Beatrice and the two princes made over it. I suppose you would too must have been lost in your own little world, weren't you? Oh, she angry. Oh. Well, anyways, you said that Lord Fragra's body was found after the lockdown. That means that something else must have happened prior. Supposedly, someone had broken into one of the heralds on exhibits. One of the magic artifacts was stolen. So there was also a theft last night. Does the manor's lockdown system behave like the one on the Imperial Academy? The systems are somewhat different. Unlike the Imperial Academy, the lockdown only prevents people from leaving or entering the manor. So not all of the rooms were locked. But what about this specific room? This room does have an abjuration ward that blocks the door and prevents teleportation in and out of it. And in addition to that, the system placed an anti-magic field over the manor. An anti-magic field? What is that? An anti-magic field is a spell that nullifies all magic within. And the system somehow covered the entire manor in its effect. Probably what the crystals in the room we saw were for. That seems like they were very powerful, like channeling stuffs. If you notice, there are several purple crystals embedded in the walls of the manor. There we go. Each of those crystals produces an anti-magic field during the lockdown. So no one could cast magic during the entirety of the lockdown. Not exactly. Someone could have used a stolen artifact to circumvent it. You mentioned that someone could have used a stolen artifact to get past the anti-magic fields? Which artifact was it? The sword? It was the sword of spell eating. The legends were true. Someone could have used it to counteract the lockdown system. After Lord Harrison reported the theft, the Inquisition discreetly placed the manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the manor to try to find it, but it was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom. And that led them to believe that she had stolen it. That's correct. The King's Guard moved to arrest her, but Prince Aster ordered them to step down. Means old maid would have done it, could have been disguised. Guards gave you a once-over with detect magic and Game of Nothing sensed like it wasn't working. No, I think that was before. So, like, at the very beginning, the magic was still active. Only... Unless... Yeah. Then again, the anti-magic field would have also nullified any illusion magic, I assume. So... You couldn't, like, they wouldn't have needed to cast the detect magic to make sure you didn't use illusion on yourself, because your illusion would have, like, disappeared anyways due to the anti-magic. It didn't look like she was planning on fleeing, so they planned to wait until after the party had ended. But then they found Lord Fragra's body. Correct. We believe that she used this stolen sword to nullify the magical locks and break into Lord Fragra's study. But if she had the sword, why wouldn't she use that to commit murder? We're not entirely sure. We have a few working theories. She might have wanted to prevent the theft from being tied to the murder. Or perhaps she had more confidence wielding a knife over a sword. Regardless of her reasons, it's clear that the sword wasn't a murder weapon. She's not just being implicated in Lord Fragra's murder, she's also being charged with stealing the sword of spell eating. But what possible reason would she have to do either of those crimes? Since the body was found here, was Lord Fragra locked in this room during the lockdown? Yes, William Fragra knew that his room should have been secured. He was supposedly in a bad mood and had locked himself in his room for most of the night. He refused to let anyone into the room. The only person he spoke to after that was his daughter. His daughter. Are you talking about Miriam? No, Lord Fragra had another daughter. I'm referring to Leif Fragra, Lord Fragra's middle child. She tried to tell her father about the theft, but he was apparently preoccupied with something else. He said that he wanted to stay in his study for the rest of the night. When did this happen? It was shortly before the lockdown was activated, a little after 1 AM. I see. Oh, she looks very different. She doesn't have the Fragra hair. That's interesting. Leif must have been the last person to see Lord Fragra alive then. You should speak with her and get more details about Lord Fragra's actions that night. By the way, Steelwind, do you have a map of the manor? I do. Would you like a copy? Please and thank you. I like how they sort of like work together. Like they're amicable. Were there any other witnesses aside from Leif who saw Lord Freygra that night? Perhaps someone heard what happened from a nearby room? There was someone who heard the altercation, but it was quite obscured. The servant was trapped in a storage room nearby. There is an air vent that connects this room with that storage room. He supposedly heard sounds of a struggle through that vent. What did this witness hear? There was sounds of a struggle before he heard Lord Freygra choking on his own blood. When the lockdown was lifted, he informed the King's Guard of what he heard. That's when they discovered the body. I see. Who was this servant? I believe you actually know him. His name is Jan Hugh. No, not Jan again. Not Jan, and his name I can't pronounce. Wait, Mr. Hughes is here? You never expected to see him again, much less here of all places. But if he heard the altercation, then you'll definitely want to speak with him. I think I'm lacking a lot of information about the defendant. From the way you were both acting, you and Aster seemed to know her. You meant her didn't tell you about her? No, I try not to pry into her business. I see. I honestly don't know much about what happened either. But Beatrice was Lord Freygra's eldest daughter and the former heir to the House Freygra. Former heir? About 5 years ago, she fled Freygra Manor and went into hiding. None of us knew where she'd gone. She ignored any attempts made to contact her. She even used her magic to prevent us from scrying her. Last night's ball was the first time in years that Aster and I had seen her. If that's true, how did Mr. Mora meet her? Would you happen to know why Beatrice was meeting with her father after all those years? I have some ideas, but nothing concrete. I was hoping you could tell me. Mora and Beatrice have both refused to disclose anything about their meeting. Damn it, what could that meeting have been about? Speaking of which, I haven't seen Tamora anywhere in the manor. As a defense attorney, I would have thought that she'd be here to investigate a murder alongside you. That is strange, but Miss Tamora has always had her own ways of doing things. Perhaps she's using a different strategy. Anyways, I imagine that she's met with her father to request financial aid. Why do you say that? I have it on good authority that she was deeply in debt. That's the only reason why she would speak with her father after all these years. And it's also why I believe she murdered her father. You think she murdered him for his inheritance? It's the only motive that makes sense. Alright, there's a lot to work through here. The prosecution will try to insert that Beatrice committed a murder. But what would she have needed to do to carry out all those actions described? The first thing we need to do is narrow down the time in which the murder occurred. After the lockdown was lifted, and Leif Freygra saw her father alive before it was activated. He entered the study and she watched as the lock engaged. The murder occurred during the lockdown. Right, the murder must have occurred during the lockdown. So that means that the murderer somehow got past the abjuration wards to protect this room. Those wards blocked teleportation, and they magically locked the only door leading into this room. Still, when the Inquisition believed that Beatrice used the sort of spell eating to get past them. Regardless of that, they think we need to assume that the murderer used some kind of magic nullification to get into Wilfred's study. That's not necessarily true, is it? What if the murderer entered the room before William locked it? Oh. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. If they were in the room when William locked it, they would have been trapped here until he decided to leave. No! No! Look, it's Celeste. It's beeping because of Celeste. Not only that, they would have been discovered the moment the guards entered the study. Boop, 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 boop. Can hear it rattling in the background. Must be strong stairs. No! Maybe they used some kind of invisibility. Or they could have teleported away the moment the King's Guard unlocked the door. Teleportation didn't occur. We didn't find any traces of conjuration magic. What about Celeste's theory of an invisible assailant? I'll admit that we did find traces of illusion magic. But the moment the guards saw the body, one of them cast Detect Magic. With that spell, they would have seen any invisible people hiding in this room. Wait, you can use Detect Magic like that? Of course, it's standard procedure. Like all spells, invisibility leaves traces of magic on the person it's cast on. Some magics can use Detect Magic as a way to see through invisibility. So we know for sure that they weren't here before or after the lockdown. This means that whoever committed the murder used some way to bypass the abjuration wards that protect this room. Unless there's a secret door in this room. The next thing to consider is the murder weapon. Well, it came from inside the room, I assume. Presumably owned by William Fragrant. The murderer probably used it to avoid leaving evidence that incriminated them. The murderer took the murder weapon, I think, in Fragrant's study. Oh. Yeah. Took... Oh. The weapon. The murderer probably wanted to avoid using a weapon that would have implicated them. So they decided to use it and leave it here after the deed was done. So invisibility is pretty useless. Well, it is useless once people assume that something magical is going on. Nobody is going to cast detect magic every 5 seconds to make sure that no invisible people are there. But if they're suspecting someone invisible might be there, then yeah. Also, not everyone can cast detect magic. So, in a place with only commoners that have no magic, that can't cast detect magic, invisibility would be very strong. Also, in cases people might not suspect, or like, think of to cast detect magic, invisibility would still work. But that leaves a glaring hole in the prosecution's case. And what would that be, Mr. Kubert? Beatrice is completely blind. It's completely blind. Even if she were somehow able to break into a highly guarded exhibit. How did she slip past the guards and enter Lord Fragra's study? Furthermore, how did she locate the letter opener if she couldn't see it in the first place? None of it makes sense. Committing this murder unseen would have been a tall order for anyone. I can hardly believe a blind person did all of this. You'd do well not to underestimate her, Mr. Kubert. What? You don't know her as I do. She's far more capable than you realize. She must be the one behind this. Ooh. I suppose I wouldn't know, but the idea that Beatrice did any of this is still ludicrous. I suppose I can't change your mind about that. But I have to ask you a question, Mr. Kubert. What would you do if you discovered that one of your clients was guilty? What? I mean, I tend to have an insight on these sort of things. That would never happen. I've already seen your uncanny ability to read people, but I'm only hypothetically speaking. So, what would you do if they were guilty? I suppose I'd withdraw and tell them to find another lawyer. I mean, can't you argue for a lighter sentence still? I mean, in real law, you're supposed to, like, as a defense, still give your client the best possible defense, even if they're guilty. That's the whole point. And if no one else would represent them, I don't know. It would definitely be a hard choice for me. But I would never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I just can't stand by and let a murderer escape justice. I see. Why do you ask? No reason. Okay. Anyways, she's made her stance clear. You still have a lot of leads to follow up on. You should move somewhere else. What's wrong? Can't see it, but the entire room is covered in traces of abjuration magic. Everything is glowing white. Right, that makes sense. There are several anti-magic fields covering the manor. Those fields probably left traces of abjuration everywhere. I won't bother showing you the traces of abjuration I find while we're here. Also holds Cuckoo's detector this last. Beep beep beep. There's a window that leads into this room. Could the murderer have escaped through there? No, the window doesn't open and the glass is magically reinforced. Full blood and chalk outline where the body must have been. I wonder what kind of books Lord Fragra owned. Wait a minute. They're all blank. They're decorative. All of these real books are on the floor or his desk. That's odd. Lord Fragra must have done his work here. Several books about economics and politics. Doesn't look like there's anything of note. It's a fireplace. Could the murderer have entered through here? That wouldn't be possible. The chimney is far too narrow. Even a small child wouldn't be thin enough to fit through it. But a familiar could. Maybe it was a familiar. Maybe it was a tiny monkey. Yes, very high amounts of cute. Holds cute as detector Luna. Needle spins out before detector explodes. Beep, 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 beep. Boom. I'm not cute. Nyeh. It's a painting of some sort of scholar. There's some text on it. Brooks Resingar, economic scholar and aristocrat accountant. He was known in some circles as Rook the Cook, due to his ability to cook the books of the four pillar houses. Wait, what? Did he, like, adjust the numbers favorably? Rook the Cook. Sometimes I wish I could have a nickname like that. What about Crimson Demon? Not that one. He wants a nice, cute nickname.
Repario Arcanum.
There's a trace of illusion magic where the body was. Assailant must have used some kind of magical disguise. Or they turned themselves invisible. Okay, so... interesting. Nothing else. Nothing new here. I doubt we're gonna learn anything else here. You enter the storage room, hoping to investigate the air vent that connects to Lord Fragra's study, when you come across a person laying on the floor. What? Jan? Is it you? Oh man, what's with all the noise? I was having such a good nap too. Mr. Hughes? Whoa, it's you two. Why are you taking a nap in the storage room? I needed to take a break from all the chaos going on. The King's Guard won't let us leave until they finish investigating the murder. And these pompous nobles shoot me away when I tried sleeping on one of the couches. I didn't expect anyone to find me here. Anyways, the prosecutor told us that you heard the murder from here during the lockdown. Do you think you could tell us what happened? Sure, why not? But that's kind of rude anyway. So you're working as a servant now? Not exactly, but I was a part of the catering staff. The twins started their own food business after Fragra threw us out of the academy. Right, sorry about that. No, it's not your fault. Even if Redmond was still headmaster, I'm sure the board would have found some other way to get rid of us. Wait, aren't Valentina and Valerie here too? No, they just contracted some staff to Lord Fragra for the Lord's Ball. I think a bunch of other businesses did the same thing. You wonder how they feel about this. They lent their service to the very man who got them fired in the first place. William must have offered them a lot of gold. Oh, and I can't believe I got myself pulled into another murder investigation. I mean, buddy, you're the one to be talking. We've done this song and dance like too many times now. So like for Tyrion, for Tyrion here, this is number 4, where he just happened to be around when murder happened. Do I have bad luck or what? Prosecution told us that you heard the altercation through the air vents. Could you tell us exactly what you heard? Well, I didn't hear everything. I was taking a nap in this room when it happened. Why were you napping here? I didn't have a choice. I accidentally closed the door when the lock was engaged. Before I knew it, I was trapped here. Right, you recall Stewart mentioning that. Anyways, I heard the sound of some kind of struggle going on. I couldn't hear everything, but I heard Lord Fragra shout, "Who are you? What do you want?" That went on for a few seconds, then I heard the sound of someone getting stabbed. How do you know what someone getting stabbed sounds like? Did you hear the voice of the assailant? They didn't say anything, but I did hear them. Their voice was really raspy. I think they had a sore throat or something. Previous experiences. He didn't hear the other person getting stabbed though. Or they were trying to mask their voice. Why did you enter the storage room anyways? Or did he? From what we know, the servants were complaining about rats running through the air vents, so they sent me to take it. Was there a monkey running through the air vents? Was it the flipping curator sending his monkey to do stabbies? That would explain why the monkey would like use a small blade that he found in the place, because the monkey could only wield a small blade. And that would also explain the scratches on the face and the back. The monkey would have just like jumped up on top of the guy before slitting his throat. I heard one of them running in the fence upstairs and I followed it here. I figured that it had nowhere else to go, so I opened it up and put a trap down. After I was done, I tried to leave, but the door was locked. I didn't have anything else to do, so I took a nap. He only heard a few words before the murderer struck the final blow. It doesn't give you much to go on, but his testimony could become relevant later. For now, you should probably move somewhere else and gather more information. I want to check out the room. Man hears a murder and goes, EP time. Well, he went EP time and then heard a murder. Like, he was like, ah, shoot, I got locked in this room. Well, EP time, and then it was murder, and it's like, well... Stepladder, I agree. So, this is a very funny joke, because, in Ace Attorney, they are disagreeing on what is a stepladder and what is not a ladder, and I appreciate that this game continues the fact on the ladder discussion. Thank you, game. It's an air vent that leads to Lord Frega's study. Supposedly, Jan heard the altercation between Lord Frega and his assailant through this.
Repario Arcanum.
No magics. Okay. Oh, this one. Okay, never mind. They aren't different. Just... I don't think it said told us to move, so let's move. Oh! I guess they reused the bedroom, because this was also the bedroom for Miriam in the thing. Come on, Tracker, where are you? Achoo! As you enter Beatrice's room, you're unexpectedly met with a large cloud of dust. Wow, this place has not been cleaned. Ooh, look at you. You look very different from, like, your family. Like, very, very different. Was the wolf yours? Honestly, kinda big. Your vision clears up and you realize that there's someone else in the room with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. No, there's no need to apologize. But I would like to know what you're doing here. We're here on behalf of the Crown Prince. We're investigating murder of William Fregra. Oh, I see. My apologies, I didn't quite get your name. My name is Leif Fregra. She looks very different from her family, like very, very distinctly different. She reminds me of Eureka from Labyrinth of the Galeria, the Moon Society. I have never heard of that, but she looks cute. I like her colors. So this is Leif. According to the Steel Wind, she was the last person to see Lord Fregra alive yesterday. She might have some information about how he was acting that night. It's a highly extravagant bed. It looks similar to the one in Miriam's. Okay, so they are actually acknowledging that it's very similar. It's a dresser covered in a layer of dust. It doesn't look like it's been touched in years. It's a table for guests, but extremely dusty. Yeah, so nobody was allowed in this room for years.
Repario Arcanum.
Oh. There's a trace of transmutation magic under the bed. I can't see it clearly. Let me take a closer look. It's Crimson Lotus. What? It's my sword! What? Well, that's interesting. You never knew her sword had a name. So this is where it's been. But why would it be here? Hold up. Hold up. If like another automaton was involved, did it get the instruction to gather the red swords and put them in Beatrice's room? But Crimson Lotus is also red. So it didn't only grab the red sword from the flipping, like, displays. It also confusedly grabbed her red sword. This is also the room where they found the sword of spell eating. Are the two deaths related somehow? But why? The only thing similar about them is that they're both swords. And red. There's definitely more to this, but what? Everyone names their sword. Yeah, if it's a special sword, you have to name it. I'm sorry for your loss, Lady Fregra, but do you mind if I ask you some questions about last night? Of course. Prosecutor Steelwind told us that you were the last person to see him alive. Did you notice anything unusual about your father's behavior? She looks so... I like the floating folds. Well, he was extremely upset about something. I think Beatrice may have offended him during their meeting. The servant said that he wanted to be left alone. He retreated into his study immediately after their meeting. I tried to speak with him when the death was reported, but he didn't much care about the missing artifact. He told me to leave him alone and let the Kingsguard investigate the sword. He was probably busy making the changes to his will. Now that's an interesting thought. When did you speak with him last? It was before they activated the lockdown. It was a little after 1 AM that night. And do you have any idea what he was doing in the study? What? No, I have no idea. You detect some fear from her. Lady Fregra, is there something you're not telling us? It's important that we know about your father's actions before his death. I'm sorry, I don't know anything else. My father was a private man and didn't share much with anyone, even his own family. I wish I could be of more help, but I really don't know anything else. I refuse to believe that's why he was killed. She's clearly holding something back. She can reveal what she's hiding through an argument. She might be more willing to cooperate. But you'll need more information about William and his will first. In the meantime, you should figure out what else she knows. I noticed that this room hasn't been cleaned recently. Do you know why? It's because I've forbidden the servants from cleaning this room. And why would you do that? Beatrice is very dear to me, and I couldn't bear to have her room disturbed after she left. This room was the only memory I had of her after she left. You suppose that makes sense. She must have been holding on to the hope that her sister would return. And what about the sword of spell eating? Do you know how it ended up in this room? I'm not sure. It's possible someone planted it here to frame Beatrice. I can't say why they would choose this room, though. What kind of person was your father? All the negative emotions. It doesn't look like William Fragrant was very beloved. My father was a complicated man. He was a brilliant scholar and businessman, but he was a cold and distant father. I see. Did he have any enemies? Was he the head of the House Fregra? He controlled nearly every banking house in Withengard. There were many people who resented his wealth and power. Can you remember anyone specific? Perhaps someone that he'd slighted recently? There was Lloyd von Sanctus, the ruling lord of Aranax. Yes, I heard that he was recently involved in a court case. My father has been using the controversy as an opportunity to slowly take control of von Sanctus Industries. And from what I've heard, he's been extremely bitter about that. Von Sanctus' reputation must have taken a hit after Dragons and Trials. He doubt he'd get himself involved in another murder. But you can never be too sure. You'll want to speak with him and get more details. Although, would he even consider cooperating with you? Anyways, are there any other enemies that he might have had? No, none that I can think of. Well, can you tell me about Beatrice? I heard that she fled Fregra Estate 5 years ago. Before she left, Beatrice was one of the most powerful mages I'd ever seen. She is incredible. At the age of 18, her talent for magic had even eclipsed my father's. But it was never enough for him. What do you mean? Before my mother died, he desperately wanted a son, but he only ever had daughters. Everyone thought that Beatrice would inherit House Fregra from my father, but our family knew the truth. William Fregra would never leave his legacy in the hands of a woman. Ah, so he... Okay. Well, we knew he was a jerk, but now we have a confirmation that he was sexist too. Doesn't surprise me. What? No matter how hard Beatrice tried, my father would never acknowledge her accomplishments. He was extremely cruel to her. Constantly belittled her achievements and dismissed anything she said to him. And after the accident, he used her disability as an excuse to take away the little influence she had. Oh, so she became blind. There was an accident that gave her a disability. Is that why she's blind? No, unalive. He's already unalived. He's no one from a fantasy medieval time period. You know he was a dickhead. True. But I mean, Aster is nice. Ah yes, accident. Yeah, who knows? If it's not too painful for you, could you tell me more about Beatrice's accident? Is this even relevant to the investigation? Any small detail could make a difference. I need to learn everything I can. I'm not sure about exactly what happened, but it was a magical experiment gone wrong. Beatrice was working on a project at the Imperial Academy. She was trying to create a new spell formula. We're still not sure what happened, but there was an adverse magical reaction. The resulting explosion seriously injured her and left her completely blind. I can't imagine how she must have taken that. Actually, she was probably the most unfazed by what happened. But that didn't matter. My father saw his opportunity. He told me that he was relieving her of her duties so that she could recover. But I knew the truth. He was going to take away her political power and social standing. She was reduced to a mere decoration for her home. And that must have been why she left. Did she contact you during the time that she was missing? No, no one had heard from her during that time. But as much as I was worried for her, I was also a little happy. Unlike Miriam and I, she had finally broken free from my father. I have no idea what would cause her to return here. You think you've learned everything you can for now. Perhaps you should move elsewhere. No, I'd like to present you... Hey, what about this sword? Okay. What about... this sword? Okay, what about... Okay, what about... your sister? What's your relationship like with Miriam? My youngest sister? I actually don't see her that much. Really? Even though you're sisters? Our lives are nobles keep us very busy. We rarely have the chance to speak with each other. And ever since Beatrice left the estate, she's been throwing herself into her schoolwork. I only learned about your father. Oh, interesting. Aster isn't on here, but his brother is. What about Jan? Nope. What about Arya? Nope. Ah. We already heard on the sister. I doubt she'd know anyone else here. Right? Yeah, we already heard on sister. Okay. So we need to find other things to build a psychological profile. Oh, new room? Any sitting rooms? And there you happen to spot a very familiar face. It is you. It is him. How about herself? Oh, I hadn't thought of that, but I doubt... We'll do that after. He's sipping on a glass of wine, and his expression turns disdainful the moment you enter the room. Oh, wonderful. As if my day couldn't have gotten any worse. Once Sanctus, what are you doing here? The head of a noble house has just been murdered. I can't very well return to Oranax when my affairs are in such disarray. The one who he's. You who him. Yeah. Anyways, forget what I'm doing here. Why are you doing here? Oh, I just want to have a friendly chat with one of my favorite noblemen. I heard that you've been keeping busy since we last met. It must be difficult losing your empire to House Fregra. No, Sean was this bunker. Like, I hope it was this banker again, but I actually think the guy got murdered by the monkey. Baron, we do need his help. Is that so? And what makes you think I'd ever help the likes of you? Because it would take suspicion of you. And let's face it, with your reputation, you could use all the help you can get. How dare you? I'll have you know that I'm still a respected member of the nobility. Respected? Is that why everyone's talking about you in your hand in Justin ways dead? Because the way I see it, being involved in another scandal would destroy what little remains of your reputation. but it makes no difference to me. And to be perfectly honest, I'd like nothing more than to drag you onto the stand and embarrass you a second time. Ugh. You can practically hear him grinding his teeth together. Very well. If it means I won't have to endure your presence any longer, I'll oblige and answer your questions. Painting. Ah, this must be Beatrice Fregra the First. The monkey again. The First? According to legend, she was one of the descendants of the 7 heroes of Bivengard. She joined a band of adventurers that were traveling across the nation. It's hard to imagine the Fregras coming from such humble beginnings. What a cute painting. It is! Oh. Wait, what? Hey, Erin! The heck? There was a guy there. I didn't mind to pay that much attention. There was a guy there. What is it now? Eldritch Bish. A muscular man in the corner. He just vanished. What are you on about? There was never a man there. Sorry, Tyron, but he's right. No, I'm sure he was there. Tyron, you're not gonna win this. Are you feeling okay? Perhaps your lack of sleep is making you see things that aren't there. No, there was definitely something there. I guess maybe... For some reason, Erin wants us to not know about him, or wants people to not know about him. Shelf filled with books. Fake books. They're completely blank. Chair made from mahogany. Every part of the house just exudes wealth. Well, that's been siphoned out of the common folk. The window. Door. Perhaps I should have considered locking it to keep out undesired guests. Not too late now. It's as if every room in this house needs a chandelier. What a waste of the kingdom's gold. I can fix her. Yep, that.
Repario Arcanum.
Okay, no magic. But you can't. Honestly, it's just one mess after another with you. Mess? Wouldn't you have much to gain from William Fregra's death? On the surface level, you might be right, but it's far more complicated than that. House Fregra controls the banking houses. They are the main pillars of support for Wolfengard's economy. William's death could have unimaginably economic consequences regardless of who inherits his house. I wouldn't be foolish enough to do something like that. That remains to be seen. To think what you will. There are others who would benefit from William Fregra's death. You mentioned that other people would benefit from Fregra's death? Who specifically? The Chaos and Karen, it literally called Eris. Yeah. It's gonna make a joke, but it's a bit not safe. Luna's gonna hold off. Have you not seen Sinbad? I have not seen Sinbad, but I know Eris, as in the Greek god of discord. That caused the Trojan War, technically, by throwing an apple. If I had to venture a guess, I would say Lucius Steelwind benefits the most. You mean the prosecutor's father? But you just said that Lord Frega's death could have an unimaginable consequence for the economy. Huh, do you think that Brute cares about Bivengard's economy? No, all that man cares about is power. Pure and physical power. House Steelwind and House Fregra have been fighting for control of Bivengard for generations. And in this long-lasting era of peace, the Steelwind's military have become far less valuable to the crown. If it weren't for Lady Steelwind's engagement to the Crown Prince, they might not even be considered a pillar family anymore. The death of William Fregra is probably exactly what Lucius Steelwind has been waiting for. And if our economy were to suffer, it would cause civil unrest. In a scenario like that, the Crown would have to rely on Steelwind's forces to maintain order. That does make sense, but could Arya's father really be involved with this? It's clear that you think Lucius Steelwind would have much to gain from this, but can you think of anyone else? Well, there is Harold Haraldson. Oh! I was suspecting him because of the monkey, but... when Sinbad Arya also makes an appearance and people are retroactively very spicy about her. I don't know what Sinbad is, but if you say so. See, in every universe, Eris is a bad bitch. Floating black hair and mommy vibe. Well, she has black hair. Hello, Mara Mara. That can't be his real name. But what would Mr. Haraldson possibly gain from Frigga's death? And also, it might be that he's Harold II and that he's from a culture where you name your child with the last name of your name. So he's Harold's son, named Harold. Yes, but that means you don't just leave her. Surprised of me, she might be Caves incarnate. But this jerk is order. What? From what I heard, William was planning to defund Haraldson Hall of History. Really? Why would he do that? I'm not sure of the specifics. But supposedly, Lord Haraldson had refused to omit less flattering parts of Vivengard history from his exhibits. How innocent can you be? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's got him blatant enough that he's drawn the ire of the king himself. Yeah, me and her are gonna make yin and yang. You get— no, I don't get you. I genuinely don't. They actually got into a very heated argument during Lord's Ball about it. Ah. I heard that William declared he would be removing House Haraldson from his estate. You don't want to suspect Mr. Haraldson, but you need to examine every possibility. And it appears that I'm not cute. Y'all just weird and confusing. As a curator, he would have the easiest access to the sort of spell eating, and he could have staged robbery to cover his tracks. At the very least, you should give Mr. Haraldson a chance to explain himself. I think it's the guy with the monkey. And can you tell me about the defendant in this case? What? She's your client. Surely you would know her better than I. Humor me. Well, I'm sure you're aware that she fled the Frigga estate 5 years ago. In doing so, she not only dealt a blow to House Frigga's reputation, but she also directly insulted the Crown Prince by breaking her engagement to him. Wait, Beatrice was engaged to Aster? Yes, it was quite a scandal at the time. And Lucio wasted no time in pushing his daughter into taking Beatrice's place. Oh, is that why those three were so awkward last night? Honestly, the situation is just an absolute mess. And that woman's return will complicate things. Beatrice's return complicates things? What did he mean by that? Do you find Beatrice's return to be inconvenient for you? What are you on about now? Well, in chaos there's order, and if she's cases, my... I'm not gonna read the rest of that out loud. I think I get it. I think. Please, don't insult my intelligence on Sanctus. Fine, if you must know, my son was arranged to marry William's daughter, Leif. Leif? Since Beatrice showed no signs of returning, it was apparent that Leif would inherit House Frigga instead of her. I know when my days are numbered, so I took preemptive actions. William wanted a male heir, and I needed to preserve my house, so we both came to an accord. My son and Leif were arranged to be wed. House on Sanctus would have been absorbed, but at least my Jaden would stand at the helm of House Frigga. Your numbers are absolutely awful. I may consider myself lucky. Think what you will, I wouldn't expect a commoner to understand. I am in fact not a commoner. You're doomed. I am doomed? Who's doomed? That's the problem with your generation. You have no sense of duty or obligation. Leif has already expressed resistance to this marriage, even though she was well aware of the details. Now Vori shall hide behind her sister to end the engagement altogether. I wonder what his son is like. Is he a stuck-up jerk too, or... They've never mentioned any of this, and as much as I hate to think it, William said would get her out of the arranged marriage. You should talk to her about this. Aeon is doomed. Why is Aeon doomed? Anyways, Von Sanctus gave you a decent list of suspects. You've probably learned everything you can from him from now. You best to move. Okay, no, hold up. I need you to tell me, William Frigga, even in death, he still remains a thorn in my side. At least now, he won't meddle in my affairs. Okay, and then... Okay, no, this is just what we already heard. Then... I'm sure she'll use William's death as yet another excuse to further avoid her obligations. She just lost her father, what's wrong with you? William Fragra may be dead, but his daughter must carry out their roles, lest their house reputation suffer. Is that all you care about? Reputation of the noble houses? What about justice for William Fragra? Justice. Justice is an illusion for you commoners to cling onto, but for us, justice is simply a favorable outcome. The Fragra family has always been influential, but with William's death, their power has diminished. And with Leif's reluctance to fill her duties, the Fragra's name will continue to suffer. You're absolutely despicable. I mean, he's just telling it as it is. I don't agree with him, but he is outlining how the world works for the nobility. What about Miriam? Oh, not also Miriam. What about Harold? Could care less about a quack's personal affairs. He has financial aid. He can find financial aid elsewhere. Okay. Yeah. Had a feeling he wouldn't have anything to say on that. What about Arya? As usual, the Steelwind Brada sticker knows where it doesn't belong. I take it you're not a fan of how Steelwind? Fan? Hardly. Because brutes have no place in a civilized kingdom. And yet, I can't help but feel like you'd never say that to his face. He doesn't want to get stabbed. I don't blame him. Anyone who plays Crusader Kings knows that justice is only ever an end to justify your means. I have played Crusader Kings, but I'm not actually sure what you mean. I don't think... Okay, he's talking about himself again. Yeah, we already read all this. So, I think we go back to here. Talk to her. First, your thoughts on yourself? Yeah, nothing. Don't want to start an argument. Thoughts on him? No? Okay, nothing here yet, so let's go to the gallery first then. Portraits cast his belly. I don't have any idea what you... Oh! I see. Did you get forged those? You return to the gallery and see a legion of knights inspecting the crime scene. Ooh, we hit the point where we just start cycling through evidence to find out... No, we still have a bit. It's just like... It's said to go back to her, but we still have this guy to ask about. However, you don't see Mr. Haraldson anywhere. The Inquisition must be questioning him. Perhaps you should follow another lead while you wait for him to return. Never mind. We can at least investigate. This blade case is completely shattered. The thief was able to do this despite there being several abjuration spells protecting it. And that my ancestors totally occupied once is rightfully mine and you disagree, justice must be dealt. Yeah, I guess I play Crusader Kings a little differently from everyone else. I end up just, like, coupling up people. I'm like, you and you, now kish. Okay, wait, hold up. The armband of intellect is empty, but the other one is still there. That's interesting. Still the artifacts ignored it. Nobody said anything about that artifact being stolen. There are traces of evocation magic on the shattered glass. Evocation is the school magic that creates and unleashes raw energy. It's the most primal of the 7 schools of magic. Someone must have used a powerful spell to blast the display case apart. Okay. That is interesting. So... So, this is gone. But nobody's making a fuss about that. You two shagging my abs and going to set people playing Crusader Kings as matchmakers. It's not cute. I'm trying to find I'm trying to get the best, people to help me govern. And, it's lesbian. No, like, I'm trying to get the best people to help me govern, and I want them to have, like, good stats and, like, good teachings. So I, like, set people up to like, have smart kids and then teach them in my court so they can later help me, like, rule. It's not cute, it's smart. The only problem is if you try and do that with, like, the nobility under you, they don't, like, they like to intermarry a lot, but then, they don't really care for being inbred as much. So you have to be really careful whom of your, like, smart children you marry out, because, like, they don't care. No, not a small eugenics. It's also schooling. Although it's a little different in Crusader Kings 3. I don't have as many hours in it. I still want to go back. But I have a lot of hours in Crusader Kings 2. I didn't have any of the expansions for the longest time. So the best way to guarantee a child to be smart was to have him be tutored by someone that was really, really, really good in a certain field. So it was like, okay, Mary, get the smart kids to my place. Educate them by the smartest people I have to make them really, really smart, and then either be like a direct help ruling or like be a spouse to my kids. Yeah. But it's a lot harder to teach in Crusader Kings 3 because every time you want to like adjust, like have to interact with a child and adjust what they're gonna do, like you get stressed out like a lot. So a lot of my teachers were having mental breaks because they were actually being good teachers, but also like it's hard. There's something else I need to ask you? No. Do I need to maybe ask you something? No. But I can ask you about your impression of Lady Fregra. She tends to keep to herself, so I don't know her very well. After Beatrice left, Lord Fregra publicly named her as his heir. That must have been a difficult burden for her to bear. Okay, thoughts on Haraldson? Oh, no thoughts. My class gave a teacher a mental break, but it was because my class was like 99% little bastards. Oh, poor teacher. It? No. Okay. Kim? Nope. Miriam. I wonder how Miriam is taking all of this. I'm surprised that you're worried about her. Last I remember, she was quite furious with you two for tricking her. She may be a pompous jerk, but she still lost her father. And now her long-lost sister is being charged with murder. Yeah, she must be going through a lot. Can you tell me about William Fregra? He was a chauvinistic pig. No, beating around the bush there. Wow, that's pretty blunt. The family had been adults with the Fregras for as long as we can remember. My father's probably salivating at the thought of House Fregra losing its head. Yeah, I had a feeling. Like, What about Orem? I haven't seen Commander White since last night. He's currently collecting statements from the witnesses that night. I hope he's confident enough to do that correctly. Right, he hasn't had the best streak as of late. Poor Orem. Is it the first time you faced off against Miss Tamora? No, I've prosecuted her defendants before. I've actually had a better track record of convicting her defendants over yours. Wait, really? I wouldn't let that inflate your ego though. You're clearly more picky about who you defend. What's that supposed to mean? You tend to pick defendants that you're sure are innocent. I'm sure Miss Tamora does that too. No, I think you're... Hey, what about Sword? No, what about the other sword? Why would Harold keep such a dangerous weapon on display? There's value in remembering and honoring our kingdom's history, especially the unsavory parts. Anyways, the exhibits were heavily protected. Only powerful mage like Beatrice could have broken into them. So even Steelwood considers Beatrice to be a powerful mage. Yeah, I think it's probably because she is very, very powerful. Okay, then... I don't want an argument yet. We need to present something else. Even after being blinded, Beatrice continued to fight for her freedom. Despite everything that's happened to her, she's always remained determined to live her life on her own terms. I remember when she first came back to the state after the accident. My father was convinced that she'd be completely helpless without her sight. But she refused to let her blindness define her. She learned how to navigate the state using her other senses and continued to study magic. That is very admirable. Also, she's cute. She's very cute. It's ironic, really. My father tried to use her disability as a way to control her, but in the end, it was the very thing that allowed her to break free. She's like, no, not like me. I'm not cute. I don't have blonde hair and cute blue-green eyes and a cape. And now we can argument. Let me save, just in case. Leif Freykra seems to be hiding what her father was doing in her study. You doubt that she's doing this out of malice. She might not even think that it's relevant to the case. You're cute. No, I'm not. Nah. But William Freykra had many enemies, and he retreated into the study to do something that night. And that something could be related to why he was murdered. Yes. Is there something you're not telling us, Leif? Because I have a feeling that you know more than you're letting on. Though it's kind of weird that to open the psychological profile when clicking, you also continue through the text. I don't think that's supposed to happen. You just met Leif Freykra today, and she has no reason to trust you. She believes in Beatrice's innocence over everything else. She's usually sincere, so it's unlikely that she's actually involved in her father's murder. She might react well if you respond with a similar sincerity. What? What was your father doing in his study? I already told you. I don't know. My father was a private man. He wouldn't share something like that with me. I think I need to present this then. He was making some sort of change to his will, wasn't he? What? Did someone else tell him? Why did you find the need to hide this from us? I didn't! She thought the thought she saw earlier seemed to disagree with that. We've only just met today, so I understand if you don't trust us. But the Inquisition thinks that Beatrice murdered your father, and they claim that she did so for his inheritance. That's absolutely absurd! Regardless, your father's inheritance is a likely motive behind his murder. Many people would have a lot of gain from his death, including you. Excuse me? I was not involved in this. How could you even think that I'd be capable of something like this? Oh. Hello, hello, welcome Raiders. Thank you very much. Let me give you a shout out. You were playing Remnant. Well, welcome to the stream, Rinhard and Raiders. I hope you've had a good stream. If you have to raid and run, I understand, but if you can stay a little and tell me how things went, I'd love to hear. We're currently playing Tyron Cubert's Arcane Attorney. If you know Ace Attorney, this is like it. It's made by different people, but it's like inspired by Ace Attorney in a way. Only we're magic. Yeah, I don't think I know Remnant. What kind of game is that? But thank you very, very much for the raid. I really appreciate it. And it goes for anyone else. If you can stay and hang out, I'd love that. But if you have to go sleep, eat, or do chores or whatever else, then I understand. Yeah, how's things been? I hope you've been having a good stream. It's a shooty and level up game. Ah, I see. Did you have fun? Oh, we're currently using an argument against someone to like try and find out more information. So we have to give the correct responses to like either what she's thinking or what we know in fact to like get this bar down. Let's make the comparison to Think Dark Souls, but with guns and up to 3-player co-op. Huh. That sounds both difficult and quite fun if you have friends that can like play with you, like, and be good. Like, I think if I were to play that, I'd probably just annoy my friends, because I'm very bad at those kind of games. Okay, okay, let's see. So... Unlike being actually involved, you might react well if you respond with similar sincerity. So I don't think I should threaten her. It's been getting really good reviews. Oh, nice. I guess that means it's a good game. You've been playing it all week. Ah. So you've been slightly addicted? I know what that's like with games. Like, you find one that is just like just right and you just can't stop playing it. Sounds like a good time. What would be the sincere way to respond? I guess rationalize? I didn't mean to imply that you're involved in this, but it's clear that the murderer's motive was to take control of House Fregra. This means that their plan heavily relied on who William Fregra was leaving his assets to. Gives you the brain tickles. Exactly. So I need to know, Miss Fregra. How was your father planning to change his will? I don't know. I was never aware of the details of my father's will. I already told you, my father was a secretive man. He didn't share the details of his estate with me. Which is kind of, if you're supposed to be the next one in the house, that's difficult. Okay, so we need to get something else. Do I need to do this one? Okay, I'm gonna look a bit. We're gonna get food and get things together. This game is still my list to get of twos. Oh, I'd highly recommend it, but I'd also be careful of watching me now, because I'm currently in chapter 4. So there might be spoilers, and because this is a detective game, it does rely pretty heavily on you not knowing yet what's going to happen. So even though I'd love to have you here and talk about stuff, for your own sake, if you want to get this game, might not want to watch the later chapters, but I really, really highly recommend it. The music is banging, the story is good, I love the art. I've been having a lot of fun solving the puzzles with chat. Like, it is really, really good. It's Ace Attorney, but like a lot less guesswork. In Ace Attorney, I got stuck way more, whilst here I do have to occasionally do some guesswork, but generally I don't get stuck. I follow what the game is going after, and Villainess is extremely... Chat likes a certain character named Eris. Eris is bad news. I'm scared of Eris. Bad vibes. Oh shoot, she's sick. I retract all previous statements. Oh yeah, she's 16. I did not... Yeah, the characters are kind of difficult to see what their age is, because Beatrice looks like she might be the same age as Eris, but Beatrice is 23. I forgot exactly how old she was too. Thank you for the follow, Pazuzu. I appreciate it. So let's see. We need to counter. I was never aware of the details of my father's will. There's some child crying outside very loudly. Hmm. Do I need to use this one again? I think I'm gonna close the window real quick. There. The child just started, like, shouting right outside my window. I don't think it's loud enough to be called on mic, but I can hear it. It's very distracting to me. Is it this one again? Hmm. Maybe it's this one. It's that one. Is that really true though? What? I already know about your arranged marriage to Jaden von Sanctus. And I also know that a part of his deal, Jaden would inherit House Fregra instead of you. You definitely knew about this, and you heavily resisted that marriage in an attempt to stall it. Which means that you had some idea of how your father's will was arranged. So what aren't you telling me, Miss Fregra? I can't trust you. Can't trust you. What? You are here on behalf of the Crown Prince Aster. Oh, push-up time. Down we go. Hey. Hey. 3. Here. Okay, there we go. Hello, Kitsune. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. I'm bad at doing push-ups. I don't know if that tunk was Luna hitting her head or if it was a water... It was a water bottle because I didn't hit my head. You're here on behalf of Crown Prince Aster. The Four Pillar families and the Crown have much to gain from my father's death. How can you assure me that his information won't be used against my family? So that's why she's been so secretive. There's nothing I could possibly say to make you trust me, but please understand I'm only trying to murder your father. I've been hired by Prince Aster, but I'm an independent agent. I have no stake in this conflict and was only hired to arrive at the truth. I think rationalize again, right? Yeah, I'm... No, it wasn't it. I'm sorry, but I can't trust you. It's just a matter of emotion, not logic. Try another approach. Okay, appeal then. There's nothing I can possibly say to make you trust me. But please understand, I'm only trying to find out who murdered your father. And to do that, I need to know everything that he was doing that night. I have no reason to trust you. No, you don't. But somehow, I can tell that you're being sincere. Will you really protect Beatrice? You're about to reassure her that you will, but something in the back of your mind stops you. I'll get to the truth of what really happened. Even if the truth means that Beatrice did, in fact, do it. Okay, if that's truly what you're planning to do, I'll tell you what I know. I wasn't trying to be uncooperative, but I didn't know who I could trust. Considering the circumstances, that's perfectly understandable. I'm not sure why, but my father was extremely upset that night. According to him, Beatrice had returned and he was even more impudent than before. He must have been angry about something she said during their meeting. Did he tell you what their meeting was about? He didn't, and I honestly didn't really care. I was just so happy that my sister had finally returned. But my father clearly felt the opposite. Before he entered the study, he told me that he would be pruning the family tree. He was going to disinherit my sister and several other members of her family. He probably started drafting a new will to reflect that decision. But then, Beatrice wasn't disinherited 5 years ago. Has anyone found the draft of his will? No, it was one of the first things I looked for after the investigation began. The modified will is missing. You doubt that it would even be enforced. He never got a chance to submit it for probate before he died. But you can't discount the possibility that the murderer destroyed it. Did anyone else know about this? No one. I didn't even tell Lady Steelwind when she was questioning me. Because it would have given Beatrice a motive to commit the murder. Anyways, I thank you, Miss Fregra. Mr. Kubert? Yes? My sister is not a bad person. There's no way that she'd do something like this. Despite what she says, she seems to have some doubts. She's in good hands. Ruby Tamura is the one defending her in the trial, after all. I hope so. Anyway, you'd think that you've learned everything you can from Dave. There's only one last person to speak with, Harold Harrison. This is a complete mess. She entered the gallery. You spot Harrelson inspecting the shattered remnants of the display case. If you recall correctly, the display case that he's looking at once held the sword of spell eating. Oh, Mr. Cuber, I had a feeling I'd be seeing you again. He's working for the Crown Prince. Can he be trusted? It seems word has spread about your deal with Aster. Hello again, Mr. Harrelson. Harold. Right, Harold. I'm sure you already know that I'm investigating the murder of William Fragra. And the prosecution suspects that someone used the sword of spell eating to break into Lord Fragra's room. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the theft last night. I'll tell you what I can, but I'm not sure how much help it'll be. I can't believe a museum owns such a powerful magic item. I would have expected the noble houses to take them for themselves. Well, the nobility of today don't have much use for items such as these. The power of a lord is based on politics rather than magical strength. And a noble wouldn't want to wield the sword of a demon, even if the legends are just stories. A demon? Oh right, the sword of spell eating is said to have been forged from a pact between a demon and a mage. Isn't making a pact with a demon just asking for trouble? They'd definitely betray you the first chance they got. Well, legends say that demons often drafted blood contracts for this reason. Wait, do you mean like a legally binding contract? The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood contract, both you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms. It's said that violating its terms will result in instant death for the offender, no matter who it is. So I guess there's some protection. Well, as an attorney, I'm sure you understand that it's possible to exploit and use loopholes in any contract. And according to the legends, demons take great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people. According to the prosecution, the theft took place during the Lord's Ball. Shouldn't there have been plenty of witnesses in the gallery at the time? That's the strangest thing. Supposedly, the gallery room was completely empty when it happened. What? That can't be right. And honestly, I have no idea how anyone could produce enough magic to shatter the display case anyways. Were the wards protecting the case that powerful? They were powerful, but that's not the issue here. It would be one thing to dispel the wards and remove the glass protecting it. But it's another thing entirely to completely annihilate the abjuration wards and shatter the glass. Doing something like that would require an extremely powerful spell, far more powerful than would have been needed. So, they used a spell that was not just powerful, but like more powerful than actually needed. So you're saying that the force applied was excessive? Yes, and that's not the worst of it. It's clear that the sword of spells eating wasn't the only item was stolen. Yeah, I was already seeing that those bands were gone. Ooh, the monkey. Doing the anime glasses thing. What? Was another artifact stolen that night? Yeah, we already noticed that ourselves, but... You mentioned that another item was stolen? Yes, it's extremely concerning. After the sword of spell eating was reported missing, I checked the other exhibits. That's when I discovered that the armbands of an intellect had been stolen as well. Unlike the sword of spell eating, we still haven't found the armbands. You look at the glass case where the armbands used to be. They've been removed, but the glass case is completely intact. The thief didn't shatter the glass. Exactly. Moreover, the armbands were actually replaced with a very well-made replica. What? So... either they were two different thievings happening, or maybe they were replaced before even displayed. What is going on here? The two tests are completely different from one another. Are they even related? Or did two different thieves coincidentally steal from Harold that night? You mentioned that someone would have needed a powerful spell to shatter this display case. Wouldn't that narrow down the list of suspects from the theft? Not everyone attending the ball could cast spells that powerful. Well, according to the Inquisition, Beatrice Fragra's magic was powerful enough to have done this. Discounting the fact that she's completely blind. Yes, I'm well aware of that, and it doesn't sit quite right with me either. Was there anyone else at the Lord's Ball capable of matching Beatrice's power? Only the heads of the 4 pillars could have invoked magic this powerful. But apparently, Beatrice is an exception to that. If Beatrice is really that powerful, or she's being scapegoated by one of the house leaders. But the cases can be opened normally, can't they? Otherwise, how would you transport the artifacts from place to place? Ah yes, the magical locks in the case can be disabled. So, what could have happened is that the sword got grabbed first, and then the other thing got grabbed, or it would still be 2 different thieves. It detects some fear. Is he hiding something? How are they normally disabled? Or was it that once the lockdown was in effect, because of the magic nullification, the cases were completely nullified and someone else could just easily open up the case? It can be turned on and off using a spoken password. And how many people know this password? Only myself. I personally oversee the transport of these items when they're moved. Garant could have stolen the sword that night. Could he have staged robbery to cover his tracks? He'd still have to shatter the case somehow. Harold, a witness told us that you got into an argument with William Frager on the night of the murder. Was William Frager planning on defunding Harold's Hall of History? Anger. Yes, he was. He made that very clear. But that doesn't mean that I had anything to do with this murder. We're not saying that you did, but I need to explore every possibility. So I need to ask, did your argument that night turn hostile? I'll admit that our discussion turned heated, but it never escalated to threats or violence. But how insulting he was, it should have. William was being unreasonable, and I was frustrated, but that's all there was to it. He deserved all that happened to him. Yeah, I show more resentment than he's letting on. Did you have any conflicts with him prior to that night? We have had disagreements in the past. He was receiving pressure from the royal family about what I was displaying in my museum. The king believed that some of my exhibits were too controversial for the public eye. What do you mean? I'm sure you've noticed the rising tensions between the common folk and the nobility. I've never been one to shy away from bloodier parts of Huvengard's history. The citizen must know about these parts of history, otherwise we're liable to repeat them. However, the king believed that my historical exhibits did nothing but dig up old wounds. Nothing but simpletons, a lot of them. The nobility thinks they can smooth public relations by censoring history, as if they couldn't get any worse. Anyways, it's clear that Harold is passionate about his work. Would that passion drive him far enough to commit murder, though? I'm starting to doubt that, though the monkey would be small enough to climb through the vents, and small enough to, wield, a tiny knife, and would also explain the scratches, but... Thank you for your time, Harold. Harold. Oh, I said Haroldson again. I think we'll be on our way now. We have a lot of info, but none of it really leads anywhere. So many people had a motive to murder William Fragrant, but who actually did it? Perhaps you should take some time to review everything that you've learned. Motives aside, let's go over the events that happened that night. It's all started when the Sword of Spell Eating was stolen. We don't have a specific suspect, but we do know something about them. The thief is a powerful mage. Entirely, completely annihilate the abjuration boards and shatter the glass. The thief was a powerful mage. That's the only way that they could have shattered a magical reinforced glass. But what about Harold? He could have just unlocked it using his password. He could have stolen the sword and staged a robbery, but he couldn't have shattered the glass. Only a powerful mage could have done that, and I doubt Harold would lie about that when we could easily confirm it with Steelwind. Right, but then what happened next? They brazenly stole the Sword of Spell Eating. This caused Harold to report the theft to the King's Guard. They search every room to try and find it. It was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom. Yeah, Aster ordered them to step down. And then there's Leigh's statement. My father was extremely upset about something. I think Beatrice may have offended him during their meeting. The servant said that he wanted to be left alone. He retreated into his study immediately after the meeting. I tried to speak with him when the theft was reported, but he didn't much care about the missing artifact. This happened before they activated the lockdown. It was a little after 1 AM that night. William died after the lockdown activated. This means that whoever killed him bypassed the lockdown and broke into the magically locked room. They had to have used the sword, right? That's likely, but not necessarily true. An anti-magic field would have also had the same effect. The murderer could have stolen a spell eater sword to throw off the investigation. But anti-magic field is a high-level spell, not many mages would be able to cast it. And I doubt any of the nobles here will let us see their spell compendiums. But because of how powerful anti-magic field is, we can still conclude that the murderer is a powerful mage. This actually narrows down our list of suspects. That's still not concrete evidence though. And we haven't even spoken to all of the suspects yet. Right, you never got the chance to speak with Lucio Steelwind. So given his status, you wonder if that would even be possible. Either way, it's a good start, and it's not us for defending this case. The trial's getting close anyways. You don't doubt Mr. Mora's abilities, but you should share what you've learned with her before the trial begins. It's a little strange you haven't seen her since the investigation began, but she might be meeting with Beatrice at the dungeon. Hey, can I get your thoughts on this guy? Nope. Can I get your thoughts on Leaf? Nope. Can I get your thoughts on Beatrice? Nope. I doubt I'll get your thoughts on Miriam. Okay. On the man himself. I've had my disagreements with William, but it's regretful that this is how his story ended. He seems sincere when he says that. But you should still be wary. You never know who you can truly trust. Thoughts on Aria? For him? No. Thoughts on me? No. Okay. I guess... to the dungeons we go. You arrive at the dungeon and search for Miss Demora. She wasn't at the crime scene, so she must be here to discuss the case with Beatrice. Or at least that's what you thought. But you don't see her anywhere. Oh, Mr. Cuber. Oh, hi. You were so caught up in your thoughts, you didn't notice that you were walking right in front of Beatrice's cell. It's her! It's her! Bad news! Bad news! Bad news! Bad news! Nope, nope, nope. I didn't expect to see you here. Celeste lets out a shriek as Eris approaches you two from behind. For a split second, you see her hand dart towards her sword. It appears that she still hasn't gotten over her instinctual fear of Eris. Eris, what are you doing here? Ah, Beatrice is actually an acquaintance of my father. He sent me here to help her through this ordeal. That brings up many more questions, but you don't really have the time to pull that thread. You have less than an hour before the trial begins. You need to find Miss Demora. Have either of you seen Miss Demora? I have some things to share with her. Ah, she was just here, but she left to retrieve some documents from her office. Instinctual fear of Beatrice, that's some good... No, of Eris. Did I say it wrong? Do you have any idea when she'll be back? She didn't say, but if your discussion had something to do with the case, I could pass a message on to her. I feel a little hesitant for some reason, but it is her life on the line. If anyone should know about what you found during your investigation, it's her. She's wearing a... Hold up, she's wearing a armband. Did she steal the armband of intellect? Is she just casually wearing that, or is it like something else? Because that would be very bold of her. Okay, let me tell you what I know. You spent some time going through your findings with Beatrice. From your list of suspects to the possible motives behind the murder. You notice that with each revelation, she becomes more uneasy. The idea of someone framing her must be stressing her out. I see. You've certainly been very thorough. Yes, but I still have no concrete evidence that points to anyone. You underestimated him. If he reveals these findings to Prince Aster, he might suspect something. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's no good. What? Eris knows. Eris knows. Eris knows that I know. 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 Oh, that's not good. That's not. Sorry, I was just deep in thought. And you were able to catch one of those thoughts. Beatrice, I'm sure you're aware that Prince Aster has your best interest at heart. What Eris doesn't know is that you are alive. Yeah, now you guys know too. I know, even though we haven't spoken for the last 5 years, I still consider him a dear friend. Then I suppose you have no issue with me sharing these findings with him? Of course not. This is bad. Even he wouldn't support us if he knew that I was involved. Wait, what was that? Eris needs to join Luna's Discord so she can get notified whenever Luna... No. Eris doesn't need to do that. Also, what? What? Ertals just said that she was involved. Did she actually murder her father? Is something wrong, Mr. Hubert? You look a little pale. Beatrice was actually behind this, but how? She's completely blind. She couldn't have navigated through the manor and avoided the guards. No, you mustn't be taking her thoughts out of context. That's it. Mr. Hubert, perhaps you should get some rest. You look dreadfully tired. What if she isn't? You think very carefully about what to say next. There's one way to get a certain answer to the eye, but if you're wrong... Beatrice, you weren't actually involved in this, were you? Iron. You see her gaze narrow in response to your question. Once again, she claps her hands together. She's clearly trying to stay calm. Do you suspect me now, Mr. Hubert? You didn't answer my question, Beatrice. As if I'd ever need to justify it with a response. But no, Mr. Hubert, I was not responsible for my father's murder. At least not directly, I was technically an accomplice. Oh no! Oh no! Oh dear. Oh dear. An accomplice. Did she work together with someone? You were? Hi, Ruby! Hello, Mr. Mora. Mr. Mora. Your mentor seems to have sensed the mood in the air. She raised an eyebrow at you. Mr. Mora, can I speak with you alone for a second? Okay. Gosh dang, you... Yeah, Mr. Mora is cool. You should have seen her in the courtroom, like, at the beginning. Like, she was out for blood, but also she's really cool. But she might not be good. I'm starting to think maybe her morals are slightly questionable. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Mr. Mora and Beatrice, she actually did murder William Fregra. Don't say it so loud, Tyrone! Mr. Mora's gaze narrows. Her eyes dart around the room to make sure the guards didn't overhear you. Tyrone, you should know better than to say that. She's a lawyer, of course her morals are... We're a lawyer too, and our morals are good! What are you talking about? How could you possibly know that? I used the Eye of Horus on her. She conspired with someone else to orchestrate William Fregra's death. Tyrone! Have you told anyone else about this? No, it's not as if they'd believe me anyway. You're the only other person who knows about my abilities. Okay, just stay quiet about this for the time being. Anyways, I need to get ready. The trial starts in half an hour. Wait, what? You're not seriously going to defend her, are you? Of course I am. I'm her attorney. But she's guilty. I saw it. Look, at this point, I don't know what you saw. Do you think I can just abandon the client minutes before trial? No, but it's not for either of us to decide who's guilty and who's not. Everyone has a right to an attorney. Thank you. Thank you, Ruby. That's what I've been saying. Everyone has the right to an attorney. Our court system needs a defense attorney and the prosecutor to keep things fair. More importantly, you had no right to use the Eye of Horus on my client without my permission. What? But I don't have time to argue about this. We will be talking about this later. Ooh, she angry. Before you had a chance to respond, Mr. Mora walks away. Celeste sees both of you and awkwardly approaches you. Hey Tyrone, is everything okay? Celeste, I think Beatrice was actually behind this. Yeah, he's in trouble. What? You don't blame her for not believing you. It's not as if you can tell her about the Eye of Horus. Although, why haven't you told her? Alright, I believe you. Aw, she just believes me. What? You wouldn't say something like that if you weren't sure, right? But if you're saying it's true, what do we do now? You think long and hard for a moment. I don't think we need to do anything. What? Steelwind is handling the prosecution, and she's definitely no pushover. If Beatrice is truly guilty, I'll just have to trust her to get the job done. Either way, I don't think we are in any position to get involved. Alright, if you say so. It's really none of your business. Okay, and now we're back at where we were at the very beginning, where we saw it from Ruby's eyes for a moment. Alright, I wouldn't mind. Nope. No. I'm gonna go there. You've done everything you can. It's in their hands now. It's none of your business. This isn't your fight. William Straker was a tyrant and a bigot anyway. He's a noble who did nothing but steal wealth from the common folk. The world was better off without him, and it's not as if you didn't try. All you have to do is wait for the trial to run its course. Objection! And then I shouted anyway. Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Hubert? Hubert? What the hell are you doing? I don't know. I just ran over here in instinct to shout objection when I heard something that could be shouted objection to. It's a condition, you know. And what I do know is that there was a massive contradiction in Miriam Thraker's testimony. Who were you kidding? As if you were ever the type of person to stand by and do nothing. I wonder if this universe you could use a spell to switch places with someone else. I don't know. Maybe. Your Honor, the defense. I mean the prosecution. Actually, hold up. Before we continue this, my bad. So we saved. So we're actually, because it is lunchtime. So I'm gonna return to title screen. And I'm gonna lunch. And we'll have to see next time how this continues. Or well, in 15 minutes. The Honor wasn't killing that guy because I was killing him. I wasn't killing that guy. I was killing someone else. Physically, there probably body swap spell might exist, but likely taboo looked down upon. Oh yeah. Probably not something people really would enjoy. But yeah, it is lunchtime. So usually I raid out, but I think I'm just gonna go do try to do a quick lunch break because I'm just very excited to continue. We're replacing Arya. Arya went down and Hubert went like, no. Justice need a prosecutor. If she can't do it, I will. Change place and murders all out of jurisdictions. I don't think that makes it legal. In any case, the owl needs food. It's really... I really like being on the other side, and I really like we're kind of like on Arya's side this time. Like, we're finally getting to help her. It's good. It's good. So yeah, I'm excited. So, in the meantime, I suggest you guys go grab some water, grab some food yourselves, do some chores, whatever else, and I'll see y'all in 15 minutes. So, yeah.